Go ahead and get rocking here. All right. We should be live. Thank you all for joining. I definitely appreciate you. If you hear me in the chat, please give me a thumbs up. That'll help me out tremendously to let me know that everything is A-OK and we are rocking and rolling. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you all for being here. We got a few things on deck for tonight's show. Ben Shapiro storming out of his interview over, I don't know if he was in London or a person was in London, but it was a BBC interview. He stormed out. May have been a mistake. We'll talk about that. Alyssa Milano has a sex strike. She says to all women out there, don't go near any conservative men. And I think if anybody listens to her, that might do a lot of us a lot of good. You won't have as many Me Too controversies, but that's a different story. Legal shrooms in Denver. What's going on with that whole situation? There are quite a few more things happening, but we'll get into all those in just a few minutes. Shout out to everybody in the chat. We got a Play for Junkie, Peter McGuire, Just on Medic, Kevin Duggan. Let me see. Dougie. Double Dog Dare. Thank y'all for being here. Tina Baker, Infinity Hand, Wisconsin Girl, Xbox Gaming, Iron Eagle 777. Thank you all for joining. And that is my cue to go ahead and get cammed on up. Thank y'all for being here yet again. I most certainly appreciate you. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me on ABL Live. And we got a nice show out already. Shout out to Taco, Lance, the Gimpy Fisherman, Big Wrench, Jonestown Autopsy, John Renaud, the Ben Shapiro and Hell Helium Begin. That's hilarious. What's going on, Mike? Charlotte Harris, Isaac Davis. Yeah, Ben Shapiro stormed out of his BBC interview. Things weren't going the way that he thought they should, and he decided to go ahead and bounce. So that's what he, left. At a wedding reception in the car watching ABL. Hey, I appreciate that weekly vape news. Thank you. Hopefully the wedding was beautiful and the people that got married are going to be good together. Alrighty. Let me see. HR to Trister, thank you for joining. Christina Rogers, Ronald Masser, Patricia Bright, Iyazi, Scott Kozai says Trump. Yes, indeed. Now, what is really going on with now the whole thing about Ben Shapiro? This was all over the internet for quite a while. People are saying, he stormed out. He shouldn't have did it. He shouldn't have stormed out. He should have just stayed the course. But I do understand where he was coming from, because you can be in these interviews and sometimes the interview, you could tell they're not really being serious and not really trying to interview you. They're just trying to attack you. Now, that wasn't the case in this situation, because the guy does that. His job is to take the opposite point of view from you to just have you reveal more about yourself and your strongest points. If you got strong opinions, strong points, he takes the side of somebody that's going to be out there in the street asking you very tough questions. That's what he does. Now, he could be a liberal. I don't really know so much about the guy. It could be, but that's not even important, because I've seen him do that same thing to somebody that was a leftist, talking about their version of the Green New Deal, as far as it wasn't even the Green New Deal. It was a UBI, talking about, we're going to give everybody X amount of dollars per week, per month, or whatever. And he was like, well, how are you going to pay for it? Where's it going to come from? Who gets it? Who doesn't get it? You don't have the money. So he was really going hard on this person too, the same way he was doing with Ben Shapiro. So it wasn't from him when he's interviewing. It's not a conservative bias thing, although you would expect that from BBC. So I can understand why Ben Shapiro was on his defensive tip, because he's like, okay, I'm on BBC. This guy's attacking me. He's asking me all these crazy questions. You're not asking me about my book, but you're letting yourself get out of frame and letting him dominate you to where it looks like you got wrecked. And he even apologized for it. But I do understand why you would think that, because I've been in that situation where you have an interview being conducted. You think it's going to be one way, and then it winds up being something else. And you like, okay, what is this? Where am I at? Are we having a debate or is it an interview? If the person asks a question to you and they allow for you to answer and they don't interrupt you and they don't be sneering and jeering. I've had interviews where people be laughing in my ear. Like I got my headphones or I got my earpiece in and I can hear laughing. I'm like, what are we doing? You know, are you just here to try to embarrass me? Is it a debate? Is it an interview? See, I respect sometimes when I go on RT, it'd be a British guy, and he might be like, "Oh, well, Anthony, the modern world was built on slavery. Don't you agree?" You know, something like that. They'll say little slick stuff like that. But you just got to respond with facts. And before I go on my interviews, usually I'm told, okay, it's going to be a debate about X, Y, and Z. I'm never told who I'm going to debate, like who my debate partner is going to be, but I'm always told it's going to be a debate. Or it's going to be a short interview, or it's going to be a long interview, or it'd be a 4-panel discussion or something like that. I'm always told beforehand what it's going to be. So if I'm put into a situation where I'm told, hey, it's going to be an interview, we're talking about your book, we're talking about your website, and then it becomes, you said this about Muslims, they're dirty and they stink and all this. And then you're like, okay, what's this? What's going on? He probably wasn't prepared for it. And it came off like an attack or an ambush. But the truth is, it wasn't really like that. Maybe it was miscommunication going on. Maybe he did not know the interviewer. Maybe he didn't know who the interviewer was going to be and or anything about the person. If he was told, okay, it's going to be Andrew Neil, he might not have known what Andrew Neil does as far as his overall style is concerned. You got some interviewers that are going to do that regardless of what. And you got some interviewers that are going to be straight down the book and read a bunch of questions. Like, okay, your book coming out, how's it going to be? How do you feel about this? How do you feel about that? And then the interview is over in 2 minutes. But that wasn't the case with the guy. So shout out to Ben Shapiro. And shout out to anybody out there that's had an interview like that or some kind of, unexpected thing that happened. Just stay calm, stay in your Zen frame, and you should be okay. But once you get outside of that, then it could become an issue. 100%. And thank you all for being here. We got 213 live in the building. Thank you. Avenatti versus Trump. Avenatti about to get locked up. How are you going to run a presidential campaign from the penitentiary? That might not really be too efficient, if you ask me. Shout out to the super chatters already, who says, I got my man Kevin Duggan and says, so triggered. That might have been Ben. Thank you to Truth Be Told, who says, you're brilliant. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. I couldn't be anything without you guys. You guys make the whole thing happen. So thank y'all for really being very supportive of the channel. And hopefully we get to about 300,000 subs during the summertime. We're at about 276 right now. So 25,000 more should be doable by the summertime for sure. Okay, the calls are not happening right now, Lenny. Give me about 20 minutes and we'll take the calls. I'll let you know when the calls are going to be on. So just give me a little bit and we should be good money. Let me see. Oh, I know Chandler. I've met Chandler before. What's it? I sell cat litter. I know Chandler. Shout out to Chandler. And also his brother Mikhail. Good guys. Let me see. BDB says, I'm surprised that the BBC didn't fire him for being anti-Semitic. That's what usually happens. Judaism and Christianity bringing us into the dark ages. If I said that, I would be banned for anti-Semitism. Well, the thing about it, Ben Shapiro has an interesting position in the world. He is not considered Jewish, which is weird. And what I mean by that is he is not considered somebody that can claim being Jewish in any instance when there is accusation of racism against him. People say, oh, he's alt-right and all this and that. Meanwhile, he has a yarmulke on his head. They totally ignore that. They ignore his Jewish identity because what's more important is the the narrative from the media. I see a Ben Shapiro avatar in the chat. That'd be funny if that was actually Ben Shapiro, but shout out to him. Yeah, prison is not great for a campaign, truth be told. So Michael Avenatti, if he's in the clink, locked up behind bars, can't get out, that might not be the best way to launch a campaign. I mean, what you gonna do? Be on a prison phone? Do you accept collect call from Lorton Correctional Facility? and then you're gonna have him on the phone doing the campaign that way. I mean, come on. Or the visiting room or something. They're gonna have a camera crew come in. I mean, that ain't really gonna work out too well. Not at all. Tulsi Gabbard has no chance. Tulsi Gabbard is too much of a fence rider. You got to pick one side or the other when it comes to politics. It is what it is. You know, she's talking about, like some anti-Trump things, but also some pro-Trump things. You got to be one side or the other. Either you're on the left or on the right. And if you are on the left, then you're on the left. If you're on the right, you're on the right. If you're on both, then you're not going to get support enough from either side to be able to do anything. She could try to be like a Ross Perot and run independently, but, I'm not really sure how that's going to work. What you may see are the Democrats support a independent candidate. They may try to do a Ross Perot, but see, that'd be really transparent because a Ross Perot, he had his own money. He was a billionaire, if I'm not mistaken. So he was able to run like that. And that's what got Slick Willie in there because it split the vote between him and George Bush, George H.W. So, I mean, Tulsi will have to be funded by the Democrats, and that'd be just patently transparent to run as an independent funded by the Democrats. They're not going to want to fund you if you're not going to advance their particular policy. So that wouldn't work out. So, she has no chance. Alt-right says all lives matter. Well, all lives do matter. Everybody's lives matters. Everyone is someone, whether it be a person that is in the womb, out the womb, gay, straight, whatever race you are. It don't really matter. Everybody's life matters. Now, if you put yourself in a situation where somebody got to defend their life and you come up on the short end of the stick, then it is what it is. If you run into somebody's house and then they put that heat to you and, your brains go sayonara, that's your fault. At that point, the person who is in danger by an individual, their life matters more than the aggressors. But outside of that, just in everyday conversation, everybody's life matters. Yeah. They told Jay Rice that was a racist saying. Really? Wow. That's crazy. Jerry Rice, football, Hall of Fame, Jerry Rice. Gun control, anti-gun control. But there's limits to everything. On Pro-Second Amendment, there's always limits. I don't think people should be able to have a nuclear weapon in the house. So, you know what I'm saying? Or, a fully auto with incendiary, like some Call of Duty type stuff. The way gun laws are now, I'm with. In most states where you have access to guns and it's not a problem, you can open carry. I'm good with that. Rifles, handguns, shotguns, it's all good. But when you're talking about some military, big, nah, we good. Or a tank, Let me see. And what else we got here? What else is on my docket? Oh, Alyssa Milano has a sex strike. That's pretty weird. She's saying that any woman that basically supports her and or people that are like her that are pro so-called a woman's choice, if you identify as that, then don't let any man near you that agrees with the other thing. But here's my thing. Okay, if you are a person that's an adult, you're an adult and you want to get with somebody in a relationship or whatever, shouldn't you have like a lot of the same interests already anyway? So if you are with somebody that you don't like, whose interests you don't like, then what are you doing? The strike is kind of silly. If you guys are not on the same page, then what are you doing? You're not even. So I don't know. Alyssa Milano is just kind of grasping at straws at this point, just trying to make herself relevant. I think, she's not acting anymore. A lot of these old Hollywood people, the roles begin to dry up. They're not really getting casted. All of a sudden, they go on social media. They get a lot of attention for their stances on political issues. Now they have a new career. Now they are a professional agitator, a professional activist, and they can get paid that way. That's their new role in life, rather than being on the small screen or the big screen They can be on a super small screen on your cell phone, and they can make money that way. That's what I'm thinking is going on. I don't understand any other reason why she'd be doing things like this. It don't make no sense, but it is what it is. Now we got legal shrooms in Denver, Colorado, or will there? They will be legal at a certain point. Right now, they become decriminalized, but they did the same thing with weed. They decriminalized it first, and that led to the vote that made it legal for recreational use. So that's going to be the next step with shrooms. After shrooms, it'll be something else. Then they're going to say legalize opioids. Well, opioids are already legal. That's the problem. There's so many legal opioids out there that's caused the opioid crisis. They said that America consumes 80% of the world's painkillers. I'll say that one more time. America, the USA, 50 states, we consume 80% of the world's painkillers, opioids, just right here. And the population is like, what, less than 5% of the world's population? The world has like 7 billion people and more. Over 7 billion people. We have about 325 million. So that is roughly 5% or less than the global population. 80% of the world's painkillers. That's the problem right there. People talking about if you legalize drugs, that'll fix the opioid crisis. How? Legal drugs has caused the opioid crisis. So if you're talking about legalizing more drugs, then what are we doing? We're doubling down on what exactly has made the country spiral out of control to begin with. So how does it make any sense? I don't understand. But, a lot of people just like drugs, and that's fine. But we got a serious issue right here with the opioid crisis. So how are we going to fix that? If the legal drugs have caused the opioid crisis, how is making more drugs legal going to fix it? We got 80% of the world's painkillers in America, 80%, and we are only 5% of the world's population, 80%. So all these, poppy fields and wherever they growing, all these different, it's all coming to America. These cartels, they basically are serving America. So a lot of the violence south of the border, a lot of that is caused by our dependence upon these opiates. I'm not going to say that's the only reason why you got the cartels down there, because if the drugs ain't going, then they're going to sell something. They're going to sell stolen gasoline. Like literally, they're tapping in the pipelines. Is there physical actual lines with gas in it with oil? They're actually stealing from those. They're popping little holes in it and taking it into containers and selling it on the black market. And you also have human beings being sold south of the border from all nations on earth. A lot of that's going on. So you got human trafficking, guns being sold, gas, whatever they can get into. But the drugs are a big part of it as well. A lot of Chinese stuff, a lot of knockoff, fentanyl, all that stuff. Fentanyl, by the way, is a legal drug. I'll say that one more time. Fentanyl is a legal drug, not illegal. It's illegal when it's on the street being sold, but it's legal. You get that in the hospital. If you've been in a car wreck or some kind of really bad accident, they give you fentanyl. It's another opiate. So when people come outside of the hospital after they've been in there for a while on these particular drugs, it's no surprise that they come out and try to find the same exact drug they were on when they were in the hospital. It's man-made. So it is what it is. T-Pain took the root canal like a champ. Hey, you're a goon. You can just do that. Drugs are in our food. Yeah. Let me see. David Aponte says Trump against Iraq war, but doesn't have a problem with regime change in Venezuela. But nobody said that we're going to go in there and send ground troops to Venezuela. Nobody said that. Trump said he wants to have a peaceful transition. Peaceful means no troops on the ground. Now you got people that are in the White House talking about, well, we're not going to go in, and that's fine. But Trump said he wants peaceful resolution, and he's not gone into any country and started a war. And furthermore, Venezuela is kind of a weird situation. What do you do there? Do you just say hands off? I think I would be hands off as far as any kind of military intervention. As far as aid, I'm not really seeing a problem with aid. We pretty much give aid to every country on planet Earth except for like maybe a few. I think there's about 193 countries, according to the UN, in the world. We give aid to right around 185. So Maybe like we don't give aid to North Korea or somewhere like that. We give aid to China. China, we give aid to, who is dominating us right now in the trade war. We give aid to them. We give aid to everybody. So I don't really see an issue with giving aid to Venezuela when you got starving people in the street beating up zoo animals to survive. But when you're talking about sending in ground troops, I'm not really a big fan of that at all. Let me see. But it is what it is. And shout out to everybody in the. Oh, I did see that big gun cache in Los Angeles. I saw cat litter. That was a great, a great sight. It wasn't a great sight to see them be taken away, but it was a great sight to see that somebody had some guns up there in California, right in the hills. I think they were in Malibu somewhere, right off Sunset Boulevard. I'm not sure what that actual city name is, but that was a nice little collection they had up there. And I don't know who that belonged to. It belonged to somebody. It may have been somebody's old house that got abandoned. It may have been a bando that had guns in there. I doubt that it was a bando because I'm pretty sure that it would have already been raided and the guns would have been gone if it were a bando, because you got a lot of them houses that get burglarized all the time up in Los Angeles. So I don't think it was a bando, but who knows? A bando, that's a abandoned home, abandoned house. Thank you, Noah. I appreciate it. You know, I like when there are disagreements because we can have a conversation about whatever the disagreement is, and we can, because it's not always going to be an echo chamber. So it is what it is. The missing Fast and Furious guns, maybe that's hilarious. It could be. They found some of those guns on the border. They found some of those guns that were, sent over there by Eric Holder and Barack Obama in murders on the border. That was a real big mistake. Like, what kind of rocket scientist, who was a genius that said, hey, let's send some guns south of the border and we're going to be able to track them up to the big dogs in the cartel? I mean, come on. These cartel guys aren't dumb. Not in the least bit. They're violent, but they're not dumb. So there was no way that was really going to work. Whoever hatched that harebrained scheme was dumb. Whether it was Barack, Eric Holder, or whoever else is in the government at the particular point in time that signed off on it and or brainstormed to come up with the idea, they're all dumb. And that's a problem. You got people in the military, people in the government that aren't as smart as the cartels. It's more about the government, really, because guys on the ground, they know more than the government. The politicians come in there and say whatever they want, and they do things that don't make a whole lot of sense. But it is what it is. It's at Holmby Hills. Michael Jackson lived there. The guns from the Beck Mansion were for Antifa at the border. Wow. Yeah, Saudi Arabia gets a lot of aid. A lot of countries get aid. Afghanistan, people talk about Israel all the time, but Afghanistan and Iraq both get more military aid than Israel gets aid. So, it is what it is. There's aid all over the place. Now, national healthcare, what is that though? Healthcare, how? And the military aid and the same thing as healthcare. What do they get as far as their healthcare is concerned? What kind of services do they get, and what's the quality of it? I think that'd be a good question. And what are the doctors getting paid? Because sometimes these programs where you get in, what's that? Universal healthcare. Doctors are getting paid whatever they can get paid. You might have some volunteers. So my question would be, what would be the actual quality of the service, and how much are they actually getting paid to render service? That would be my question. You got volunteers going. What's going on? Should military veterans get free college? Well, I don't know. I don't think college should be free. I can't really answer that with yes or no question. I think there should be discounts, but free college, I mean, I don't know about that. There are certain programs out there that'll get you like money off, scholarships. I don't know about free college though. But isn't there the GI, like, don't veterans get some kind of benefit towards college already? Like, if do veterans get free college right now, or is there some kind of benefit that they get towards college? You know, because I know some guys that were veterans and then they were able to go to college and it wasn't a whole lot of money they paid, or it was free. Yeah, see, the thing about it, GI Bill, yeah. Now, see, the thing about the whole college thing, um, people are going to college and wasting their education. I would want people to not be so wasteful with their free college experience. You know, that's what I would like if that's possible at all. So if you're able to get the GI Bill and you get reduced tuition or free, okay, they get GI Bill if they paid into it. Yeah, I say whatever is out there right now, I'm with. Because I have heard about people, you know, getting aid with their college if they're in the military, getting discounts. I think that's fine. And you also get trained certain ways when you're in the military. So, I mean, I'm with it. I don't really see the need to do anything else. I think the main thing would be to get that VA healthcare system tightened up. Joshua Kaufman says, I got 2 degrees from the GI Bill. There you go. So, that makes sense to me. Thank you to D Nom family for the donation. Definitely appreciate you, D NOM family. And shout out to Baptist 702 who says, how do you reach the black folks who call you Uncle Tom, House N-word, etc.? How can we help those who seem to be filled with hate towards Republicans stuck on the liberal narrative? You can't reach out to them specifically. You can't just try to talk to them and be like, okay, don't call me that, or, you know, Uncle Tom was the hero. They're not trying to hear that, because what's going on is they don't like you. So the names that they call you and the hatred towards a particular ideology is not really relevant. It's all about them not liking you. So all you can really do is be an example, just be a good person, and have those that are kind of on the fence that may think that way, but not quite, have them come to you, come to your side. You can't reach out to them when they're in that particular state of mind. It's like dealing with somebody that's a crackhead or something. And people try to get them in their rehab, and they try to force them to go here, force them to go there, force them to go to detox. It doesn't really work. You may have a success story here and there of when a person was forced to go to rehab and they come home and they're 25 years clean. You do have those stories, but for the most part, a person that's on drugs, alcohol, will not be ready to stop what they're doing until they're ready. So all the rehab in the world ain't going to work until they, in their mind, have hit that particular rock bottom point where they're ready to change, or whatever is the trigger to make them be in that state where they're open to change. If they're not open to change, there's nothing you could do. So just continue to be yourself, and then those who are open to change will come to you in due time. That's the best way I can put it. You know, I don't even really, when I get called those names, I don't get mad at all. I just know that the person is not, they're not ready to come to the light, so to speak. They're not ready to change their mind and get out of that way of thinking. And until they're ready, I can't do anything about it. So it is what it is. Let me see. What else we got here? Thank you, Amy. I appreciate it. Thank you to T-Hole Lukes. Hopefully I didn't butcher your name, who says, keep fighting the good fight. God bless America and God bless President Trump. Hashtag Trump Train 2020, 100%. He will win again. There's no question about that. There's nobody on the left that can beat him. They're talking about Joe Biden, but there's so many problems with Joe Biden. It's not even funny. He wrote the 1994 crime bill. That was him that did that, Joe Biden. Joe Biden said George H.W. Bush was too soft on crime. George H.W., Ronald Reagan's vice president, said he was too soft on crime. Joe Biden was against busing and integration back in the 70s. Joe Biden has a lot of Me Too moments with kids and everything else. He just is a flawed candidate. I would say Joe Biden is as flawed as Hillary Clinton was, if not worse, in 2016. So Hillary Clinton being so flawed is a big part of the reason why she lost. Also, he is an elderly man. Trump is old as well, but he's not older than Joe Biden. I think Joe Biden is 76, and Trump is 72. That's a big difference when you're talking about that particular age. I saw him on stage, Biden it is, slurring through his entire speech, just saying whatever, came to, it was a mess. So you combine his age with his background and a bunch of gaps that he's going to do on the campaign trail and the overall creepy nature, it doesn't really look too good. And Bernie Sanders is not going to be allowed to go any further. I'm not really sure why he's out there, for real, because he already got nixed by the DNC one time before. So you think they won't do it again? Yes, they will. If they felt like Joe Biden is going to be a company guy and do what they want him to do, they'll do the same thing to Bernie Sanders that they did last time. And Bernie is older than Joe Biden, 77. Oh, ain't no question, SOBC. Listen, if Joe Biden was to be the nominee, he would get at least 80 to 85% of the black vote. Ain't no question. But see, the thing about it is, if he gets 80% of the black vote, that's actually pretty low. If he can't crack 80% of the black vote, then he'll lose automatically, because you don't have enough people to, you don't have enough votes to take you over the top. That's why they're fighting so hard to keep the black vote in the Democrat hands, because they know that they have to have at least 85 to 90% of the black vote to win. If they get 75%, really 75% of the black vote is still a lot of, it's still a lot. It's more than any other group would give a particular candidate, but that's too low for them to be able to be successful. So a lot of these swing states, we're heavy population, Ohio, Florida, Illinois. Not swing states all the time, but states where you want to get the win, a lot of electoral votes, a lot of the black vote makes that happen. So if you get less than 80%, it ain't really going to work out well for you. Yeah, if Trump gets 15% of the black vote, it's an automatic dub. If he gets 20%, you talking about Walter Mondale in 1984 versus when he only won one state. You talking about that going on. So that's pretty much what that is. Let me see. Iraq war era vet. Yeah, that's what happened with remember that guy from the Covington kids, kerfuffle, the Indian guy, talking about, yeah, I'm a Vietnam era veteran. Vietnam era veteran? What you mean? Did you go to Vietnam or no? You were in the military when the Vietnam War was going on, but you did not go to Vietnam. You were not in the Vietnam War. You were stateside. You were, what was that? He was a machinist or something, or an engineer. You were basically like screwing bolts on the back of trucks in the Vietnam War time. You did not go over to Da Nang or nothing like that. You were stateside, chilling, hanging out close to where you live. So I don't know what he's talking about. Did you guys see Trump call Pete Booty Judge, whatever his name is, Booty Judge, Booty Gig, Boot Edge? That was hilarious. And also Archie Newman from Mad Comics, that was fantastic. And he looks just like him. Yeah, he fixed fridges. You're right about that. Thank you, William. He fixed fridges. Yes. Okay, now somebody said Trump was a neocon. Why is Trump a neocon? Like, what makes you believe that Trump is a neoconservative? What has he done or said that gives you that particular point of view? I'm not really sure. But let's go ahead and get to the calls. I'm going to go ahead and load it on up. Rosie the Rifter Man, hilarious. Refrigerator repair. Booty, I call him Booty Judge. That's probably the best way. I mean, people are saying Booty Judge. That's what they, what they're saying. But Booty Judge? Nah, Booty Judge. That's what his name is. But, I guess that's probably better than Booty Gig. Well, actually, it's not, because are you a judger of booties? That's what your name is? Change your name. Like, at a certain point, some people in public office do change their name. They try to get on Trump family for that because his father or his grandfather, whoever it was that came from the old country, his last name was Drumpf, and change it to Trump, make it easier to say, easier to recognize. It's not a hard name to say. Donald Trump, simple, rather than Donald Drumpf. Just change it to Judge, just straight Judge, Pete Judge. Easy to remember, easy to say, not Booty Judge. But I digress. Let's go ahead and get to the calls. Let me turn my Skype on and see if it want to work for me. Hopefully it does. Let me see. All right. Let me see what we got going on here. All right, you guys. 780, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, Anthony.
Well, hello.
This is Liza calling from Canada.
Liza, what's going on?
This is such a shock. It's the second time I rang. What a miracle. I just want to reflect on something that you said in the beginning. And you said that you don't feel comfortable about Tulsi because she seems to flip-flop and she seems like she's in the middle.
Well, I'm saying that she has no chance of winning because she has not really picked a side. And in this election, you can't really be in the middle like that because you won't get support from either side on a national level. The Democrats won't support her because she has too many conservative values. On the other side, she won't get support from the Republicans because she's a Democrat and she has too many of the liberal values. So you're kind of like in no man's land once that's your particular stance.
Well, the thing is when the whole Alex Jones waking up thing, like when they said it's two sides of the same bird, and then you read that, the military is being funded on both sides of any war, all I want to say, and I'll make this quick, is I really think people are beginning to realize that they fit somewhere in the middle between these two extremes. We just want to have a productive and a happy life, and for our family to be safe. Middle ground. Like I'm looking at her. I really like Trump. I like what he's doing, but I'm really getting sick of the drama, and I do think that there will be kind of a backlash vote for Tulsi.
Okay, but see, the thing is, who's gonna actually vote for her? Because, you're gonna have the two candidates probably be Joe Biden and Donald Trump. So, how is she gonna get enough votes to make a difference?
Well, don't the SJWs say we need a female no matter what, even if you're a transgender female and you want to win the races against women? I mean, I'm like everything to me has just. It's turned into idiocracy. And what makes me sad when I see these hearings is the U.S. is supposed to be the most powerful nation on the face of the earth, but the rest of the world is watching. And politics to me, it's turned into, as I said, I like Trump, but this is the apprentice continued. It's very strange.
I mean, we live in strange times right now. You got people talking about, they are a male biologically, but in their mind, they are a female. People identifying as whatever they want. You got really weird things going on. You got Ben Shapiro, an Orthodox Jew, being called a white supremacist. So we live in strange times. You got to just kind of adapt to it. It seems weird to say, but it just kind of is what it is. In order to combat these things, you got to just be as strange as it. Just going about things the same old way doesn't really work anymore in society where we got such strange things happening.
And I agree. And what we need to do is exactly your platform is providing people. I call it it's crazy times. So we're kind of surfing together or free falling. Just reach out towards people who feel the same way. And it breaks my heart the way families have been split up over Trump derangement syndrome. This really is Paso Brando. This is idiocracy. Anyway, thank you so much for what you do.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Bye.
I thought I had that turned down, but I guess I didn't. Okay, let's try this one more time. 561, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, Anthony.
Okay.
No, I'm just joking with you. Hey, yo, man, you need to leave my opiates alone, bro. For real.
Hey,
I've
I'm
had
sorry.
3 major surgeries, and I got deteriorating disc in my back, and they want to do another surgery, man.
Hey, man, you know, like
I'm lucky if I get out of bed some days.
I'm with you, and I think that we shouldn't be having all these people out here using drugs that shouldn't be using them, and the drugs should be for those who actually need them. Because what's happening is that
Yeah, but you almost made it sound like we just need to get rid of them, period. I'm miserable as it is. You'd make me even more miserable.
No, I mean, I know people like the drugs. I feel you. And I know some people
I
need
don't
them.
like them. I need them.
Wait. Hold on. I know some people need the drugs, so don't get too upset. But the problem is, 20 people are on drugs that don't need them, and everybody knows that there's an opioid crisis happening with people that are on drugs.
I hear you.
Dying.
I hear you.
So we got to do something about that. And the reality is that while there are many people that need medication to do with their chronic pain, there's no reason for the United States to be 5% of the world's population but have 80% of the world's painkillers. There's no need for that.
Well, that's because every other nation could get other stuff legally.
No. I'm talking about legal pain. I ain't talking about illegal street drugs. I'm talking about legal painkillers.
Well, other countries are not. They're not illegal.
No, you're not listening to what I'm saying. I said we have 80% of the world's legal, not illegal, legal painkillers.
I understand that, but there's other stuff in other countries, like there's opiates that aren't deemed illegal that you can get. Like there's certain countries where they grow the coca leaves up in the mountains. There you can go buy the coca leaves when you're up. What country is that? My friend was telling me he stayed there and they had coca leaf tea for breakfast. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
so
but is that a painkiller?
Where the opiates in these other countries, they just have them in other forms. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, but see, the painkiller part is you're talking about big pharma coming down, and this is legal stuff you can get from a doctor. So that's not to be confused with things that are coca leaf or anything else, any other opiate derivative.
Right.
I'm talking about painkillers. The point is that
all right.
the point. Hold
on.
The point is that we have too many drugs in society. What you don't have in other countries is commercials on TV for drugs. A lot of Europeans, they're surprised when they come here. They say, you got drug commercials on TV?
That's why they charge so much for the medications, because all the money they spend in advertising, which they don't need to do, because I've never went to the doctor and said, hey, can you prescribe me this? I saw it on TV. I've never done that.
See, you coming to my point right now. And the reason why you have commercials,
absolutely.
The reason why there's so many commercials is because there's so many drugs. That's the point. You got to stand out from all the other drugs.
But the doctor says
everywhere.
what he's going to prescribe to you. You know what I mean?
Huh?
You don't go in the doctor's office and say, I saw this commercial. Can you prescribe me this? It's usually the doctor says what he's going to prescribe to you. You know what I'm saying?
I understand that.
The doctor dictates that.
I understand that.
They waste money on the commercials.
No, they don't
and jack
waste
up
money.
the prices on the medic.
Because the point is that there's too many drugs. You're not. See, that's why they have ads.
Oh, you're saying it's real competitive? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
A competitive market.
There's too many drugs. Like if there were not so many drugs, you would not have these commercials on TV, which is why you don't have that in other countries, because it ain't so many drugs just all over the place, just easy like being able to buy popcorn and candy. It's not like
but we should realize by prohibition, alcohol prohibition, it doesn't work. It just creates more criminals. And when they did prohibition for drugs, they never put it in the Constitution. Therefore, the government is not held to those same standards. Well, how do you think it's getting into this country?
Huh? What do you mean?
How do you think it's getting into this country? The drugs, the illegal drugs.
Well, a lot of different ways. The border.
But the government's bringing it in.
I mean, do we have evidence?
Well, of course. Look at the Clintons. Look at the Bushes when they're bringing all the cocaine in Arkansas. That's documented.
Okay, but
they weren't held to the same standards because of it's not in the Constitution, so it doesn't apply to them.
Okay, so what about what about right now? Do we have any evidence of who's bringing the drugs in during the current opioid crisis?
Personally, No, I don't. But I have a friend who is in drug enforcement for 15 years undercover, and I was like, "How can they not stop bringing the drugs in?" He goes, "You get up to a certain point, then you're told to stand down because then you're dealing with the government." I said, "Oh, really?"
Okay, now.
So I'm just saying.
That's back to my point. I think you're kind of proving my point a little bit about there being too many legal drugs. Too many drugs are allowed to come into the country legally and illegally, and we need to crack down on that. So you agree with me then? We got too many drugs that are coming in that shouldn't be here.
But to a point, then if they're going to do it right, they have to put it into the Constitution, and the government has to be held to that same standard.
Put what into the Constitution?
Drug reform.
So what would you do for drug reform? What was your actual?
Well, what did they do during Prohibition? They put it in the Constitution. They did an amendment and put it in the Constitution. That way, the government was also liable, held to that same standard.
So what's the solution? Like, spell it out for me. Like, what would you do for drugs?
I don't know. I'm not that smart.
Okay. Well, I think that we should not have so many legal drugs in society because we got too many just floating around. That's what's causing the opioid crisis because, somebody get.
But there's a lot of stuff that's worse than the opioid.
Sir, let me finish. Think about
Go ahead, Anthony.
Now, the problem is people are being overprescribed. People in the VA complaining about it. They're saying they're trying to get treated, but all they do is get a bag of pills and told to leave, F off. We don't want to see you no more. And then now you got somebody out here with drugs they don't need because they're just told to get out because it's so available. You can just get them and give them to somebody. And now you got a potential drug addict on your hands who, after they become healed for whatever they had.
Yeah, but you don't always heal from every injury.
I'm not done. Now they're on drugs that they shouldn't have been on. So that's the problem. It's too many drugs. I'm not saying.
Have you had any major surgeries, Anthony?
Hold on. I'm almost done. I'm not saying that there shouldn't be any kind of medication out there, but we got too much. I think nobody can really dispute that fact based upon what I've already said.
Yeah. I can talk now?
Go for it.
All right. So, see, I had lost my train of thought because of what you said, but personally, they're coming in. It needs to be done a different way if you want to stop it. You know what I mean? Because you're not going to stop it. You're just going to put more people in jail because people are going to do what they want to do. I mean, it's America. You're supposed to have that right. You know what I'm saying?
So should I be able to buy?
You're hurting yourself and affecting yourself.
Should I be able to buy fentanyl from the corner store?
You can buy alcohol, and that was illegal.
No. Here's the question. Should I be able to buy fentanyl from the corner store? Yes or no? You there, caller?
I'm listening. I'm thinking about it. I don't want
to. You should be able to answer it because if you're going to have legal drugs, then let's do it. Like let's not have it be like, oh,
well,
maybe.
Then sure, they can tax it, they can bring it in, they can legalize it. So, and if the person overdoses on it, then that's their responsibility.
Is the answer yes?
Well, sure, why not? People are going to do it anyway.
Fentanyl from the Getty Mart. Okay, cool. I got you. Heroin too?
They're going to do it anyway, so the laws aren't stopping them from doing it.
So heroin,
and
cocaine,
the other
methamphetamine.
Drugs, like the other drugs that they give people for depression, this, that, and the other thing. I mean, all the people who've done all these mass shootings were on some kind of psychotropic drug.
Okay.
So you have that also. I mean, you have to consider.
Should I be able to cook meth in my house or an apartment where I may have others in the apartment complex with me?
Well, that would be like saying, can you brew alcohol in your house? Which some states you can.
So meth is good. I can cook that in my house.
Well, I know there's a lot of toxins from that in the air.
I mean, like let's just.
I don't think
it's toxins. It's toxins.
You can't dictate every part of somebody's life. Like for instance, if I go fishing for sheep's head, I can use a regular hook, but I can't use a treble hook.
So let's
because the government says I can't use a certain hook.
So
they're back in every little aspect of our life.
Back to meth, though.
There has to be somewhere that there's too much. There's overreach.
So back to meth. Should I be able to cook meth in an apartment complex for my own personal use?
So you're saying there's no equal median. There's nowhere in the middle that we can go.
What
Is that what you're saying? It has to be all or nothing?
I mean, if we go, I'm asking the question because these questions are going to be asked.
I'm asking a question myself now.
I've already asked the question.
What your opinion
I've already asked the question, and then once you answer that one, I answer yours. So should I be able to cook meth just personal use in my apartment?
Of course not. If you're going to endanger blowing people up and putting toxic air in the house that can kill everybody,
so the answer is no?
That would kind of be a stupid thing to do.
So the answer is no, right?
That would be like that would be like trying to make a bomb in somebody's house.
Sir, so the answer
that
is
would
no?
be like making a bomb in somebody's house. So,
is the answer yes or no?
But can they make it outside?
Okay, so is the answer no or yes?
I mean, there's a difference. I mean,
So the answer is no. So should I be able to
not
smoke
inside the house, but outside they can make it.
So should I be able to smoke it inside?
Maybe you can't smoke it inside, but you can smoke it outside.
Okay, so you already put in regulations and stuff. You see where I'm going? Like you can't just
but there's got to be things have to be regulated, but there has to be an equal medium. There has to be somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? There's overreach in the government, where the government dictates every aspect of your life. They say people commit 3 felonies a day without even realizing it. That's insanity.
I'm with you, man, but I don't mean to cut this short, but I got to get to a few more calls.
All right, Anthony, good talk. I'm glad I got you to laugh earlier.
All right, now. Thank you for the call.
Be good, man.
All right.
Later.
All right. Shout out to the caller. 100%. Thank you to Acro WP2. I know I butchered that. I'm sorry. Who says you rock ABL? Thank you. I appreciate you. Let me get to my next call here. 702, you're on my speaker too.
Hey, what's up, man? It's Mark.
Hey, everything's good, man. What's happening?
Oh, nothing much. Just listen to all your topics tonight. Just briefly touching on Tulsi. I know that she actually voted for the global war on terror. I mean, she voted for like $68 billion to fund it. So for her to campaign as an anti-war candidate is just not the truth. I happen to like her as a candidate, except that she's anti-gun. And the problem with the anti-gun people that I have, as we've spoken about before, is we have anti-gun candidates such as Dianne Feinstein, whose husband is a war profiteer and an arms trafficker. And we live in a country with an open border.
Right.
So it's like, so this is a big problem when they want you to disarm, but they won't close the border, and they're selling weapons to the entire world.
It's basically like arming an enemy and making you stand down to prepare for an invasion. You're arming the rest of the world for an invasion while you can't have guns to protect yourself. It's weird.
Yeah, it's absolute submission. It's psychological conditioning. If your listeners were winners, they would vote for themselves to out-arm and out-tool the competition. You're supposed to have an advantage, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's alpha behavior. Listening to these people, it's beta behavior. So as much as I like Tulsi for her to be for gun control and then to vote to fund the wars and then say that she's a pro-peace candidate, it's there's a disconnect there. I happen to like her PR. I love her appearance. I love the way she presents herself. I love her heart, but it's like it's not genuine when it comes to like her voting record. And then with the opioid thing, I'm open to like red light districts, maybe regional experimentation, but I know that Amsterdam is kind of a slum. We're going to find out in Colorado how the weed thing works. I heard even weed legalization changed the area for the worse. Oh,
yeah, big time. Because on a video I did about that, a lot of people from Denver were in the comments saying it destroyed us. You get all these junkies all over the place because it's not just people that are on weed. It's not even just that. People that are on you get hardcore drug users that use everything. Weed, cocaine, heroin, meth, whatever. And they're all kind of congregating together just doing their drugs. And people that live in an area where that didn't exist before, now their living situation is totally different. And they don't like what happened. But if you want to see an area where heroin, cocaine, whatever is pretty much legal, look at San Francisco right now. You got needles everywhere. People doodling on the ground. They have apps to make you to allow you to watch out for the piles of human feces on the floor when you're out jogging in the city because it's so bad. So we can see what the end result is going to be of drug legalization or decriminalization right now in America.
You know, that's a great point that you bring up, is that, like, what I don't like is when they're like, hey, it should be legal, you should be free to do what you want, but then you're not free to report on the reality of the situation. Because I heard some of the apps that you just mentioned, Like, they try to cover that up. They try to say, oh, we don't want those apps. Like, you can't have the information of the data of what areas to avoid. If you don't want to be around junkies, and you don't want to be around smut, and you don't want to be around dirty people, like, they want to try to outlaw that, the information that lets you know where to avoid. And see, that's where that kind of flies in the face of what the last caller said. I would be open to experimentation. I would be open to regional red light district, experimentation and seeing the results. I'm open to that. The thing is, what I'm not open to is when the media plays middleman and tries to hinder information about the reality of the situation, or they try to run spin. So it's a difficult issue, and I'm against fentanyl dealers. I have beef with the Sackler family because they promote things under false auspices. However, the truth is, when people try to point the finger at doctors, there are junkies that will shop doctors. They'll go to every doctor in town 10 times a day and ask for drugs because they want their fix so bad. So to blame the doctor is not a realistic thing. I think any pharmacist you ever spoke to would kind of inform you of that. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Yeah. And as for Ben Shapiro, I didn't catch all of it. In my opinion, I watched it a couple of times. I think he lost fair and square in that he kind of embarrassed himself. There were quotes from his book, and they were in context. I think that he got a little bit carried away. I'm with him. I'm more into like what they would call, Judeo-Christian values. The problem is that when people like Emmanuel Sellor, who partnered with the Catholic Ted Kennedy and worked 40 years of their life to bust open the borders of the country, and then brought into and created a situation where you end up with an Ilman Omar or a Rashida Tlaib. It's like he never puts his fellow tribalists on blast for opening the gates of the West to this invasion. Instead, they play politics, and they're always playing victimization, and they're always like talking about one group in one country, and it's not America. And it has nothing to do with the rest of us. It's not a universal thing that he's talking about. It's always exclusive to his group and his people. And that's the problem I have with Ben Shapiro. They call him the littlest chicken hawk because he would be pro-war at an age where he could have served, and he didn't serve. He didn't enlist like Pat Tillman enlisted. Chris Kyle enlisted. Ben Shapiro did not enlist. Mm. So this is a big this is kind of a problem, and if I was to take Ben seriously, I'm for what Ben says. But Ben, why don't you just say repeal Hart-Celler? Why don't you put pressure on the Republicans to repeal the Hart-Celler Act, the immigration system of 1965? Then I would take him seriously. As of right now, I just can't. And so to see him get really, really, really shut down and dominated, I'm not for what the guy was saying, but it's a bit of shot in front on my part. And then Alyssa Milano, a lot of people are saying, because she's talking about like reproductive rights are being erased. And yet, I know grandmas who are Alyssa Milano's age. I'm around her age. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
and girls that age, they're grandmas already. And it says their reproductive capacity after age 45 is 0.7 or 0.7 births per 1,000 women. So fertility is dropped big time. So reproductive rights, as applied to Alyssa Milano's age bracket,
yeah, it ain't really happening.
They don't really apply.
You pretty much got a dust bowl right there, so it ain't really going to go down. So I don't know what she's talking about, really. Not for her. Definitely not for her. So this strike, she can't really go on that trying to have no baby. So I'm not really sure what this whole thing is about. Probably just a big PR stunt trying to get some attention because the Hollywood roles aren't coming in. But she definitely not going to be having any kind of babies.
Yeah, that's funny. That is her Hollywood role, though, because like the union is done, the actors union is controlled by a certain group or a certain individual even, and I guess her full-time job is working for him. And then like one guy also said, women who support like Alyssa Milano's sex strike see sex simply as something they give to men to gain something in return, instead of like a mutual expression of love. So they want to exchange sex for abortion laws. So he's like, how is that any different from prostitution?
That's what it sounds like to me.
You're using sex. Yeah. They're using sex as like a form of payment or whatever. So, so yeah. And then, And that's it. You know what? That's all I got. I'm going to let you go. But the legal shrooms in Denver, all that stuff, I think through trial and error and realistic reporting, I'm open to trying the drug thing. I'm open for whatever goes. But I just, for me, I would prefer straight, strong, and proud. I like when, like, I'm MAGA, make America great again. And there was a time when America was straight, strong, proud, and clean.
That's right.
And it's just not like that anymore. You know, when they had the marriage rates, the literacy rates, the standardized test scores, they were all better 50 years ago. But anyway, Anthony, thanks for your time. Take care.
Thanks for the call.
I'm going to let somebody else call. Okay.
All right, now. All right, thank you to Mark for the call. Most certainly appreciate it. I didn't even think about that, the whole Alyssa Milano thing. You know, you pushing 50, you know, you beating 50 door, knocking it down, you know, you're not doing any kind of reproducing at all. Reproducing an outrage culture, but not reproducing any kind of babies. But let me get to the next call. And thank you to the super chatters. Gustavo Cortez, who says, what's good? Everything's all good over here, boss. Thank you for your donation. Definitely appreciate you. All right, caller, you on the line, 617.
Yeah, what's going on? They always give you a hard time.
All righty.
I give props to Trump for doing the thing with the pharmaceuticals, that they make sure when they do the commercial, they got to show the prices. I think that was a good legislation. I give props to him. It's time somebody stand up against these pharmaceuticals. So I know he cannot do it by himself because there's a lot of lobby involved among Republicans as Democrats as well. So I give him that. I give him that prop. Another thing, your show is more likely, it's about your opinion, right? So you pretty much sell your opinion to your audience. That's what it is?
Well, I have my opinion, but it's also facts. I report on news, and I give my opinion on the news, so it's both.
Okay, so it's both. Okay, so when you a couple of days ago, you were talking about Trump tax returns, right? I guess somebody showed the financial records, and you were talking about Trump tweeted that people in real estate, when they invest in real estate, they show losses for tax purposes. Well, it's misleading. I don't think it's lying, but it's misleading. Or it could be both. Number one, you have a great year in real estate or any business. You got to report your income and expenses. So, you have a net income. That's what you report. You don't make losses out of not having losses higher than your income. So that's not true what he says.
So is that how the law is right now?
No, it's not. It's just always been like that. You got an income.
Well, the laws have changed. So is that how the law is right now?
Well, let me continue. I'm going to explain you what he means. So let's say you have $5 million. You make $5 million. You have $2 million in expenses. The profit income is going to be $3 million. The net income, you will pay that on taxes, and then goes to the K1 to this personal, right? And depends how much money invest, how much is his percent of investment, etc. If you have a year that you lose $30 million, net is in the red, $30 million. You could report your losses over a 20-year period. I think that loss is being eliminated. Actually, they eliminated last year on the Trump Tax Code Act. But you could carry over 20 years forward and two years back. So that means you could deduct. Let's say you lost $10 million. You could do 2020, 2021, 22 until all the $10 million or $5 million, whatever loss is being used up. Or you could go back 2000 and you could go 17, 16. You could go back. 17, 18. You could go back.
Okay.
2 years.
Now is that how the law is right now, or was that the law?
Yeah. But that's just changed. But remember.
Okay. So the question. Hold on. Let's make sure we're on the same page. Is that how the law is right now? Yes or no?
It's not right. But let me.
Sir. Before we continue, is that how the law is right now? Yes or no?
No, the net operating loss is being eliminated right now for this year.
So what was the law? What was the law back when Trump was having the tax returns, like in the 80s?
2 years back, and 20 years forward. In your losses, if your losses exceed, there's a limitation on losses. Let's say you have $10 million in losses. Depend on your reported gross income. So your loss is going to be limited to your gross income. So let's say you make $10 million, but you have $60 million in expenses. Obviously, you in the minus $50 million, right? So you limited to $10 million. So you could use up the $60 million, $10 million a year for the next 20 years, or it could be 6-7 years.
Are you a lawyer or an accountant? I'm
not a lawyer. I do prepare tax returns. I'm not a high level of expertise, but I'm familiar with net operating losses. So I'm kind of familiar with that.
Do you have any big accounts of big businesses?
No, I don't have big business accounts.
Okay.
No, I don't.
So
I don't
like
have
H&R,
maybe the largest is
guy?
probably 2.
Okay.
Because it's the same thing. Same rules apply. It doesn't matter if it's 50 million, 100 million, or 2 million.
It does matter because you got a whole different set of rules in place. You got accountants and lawyers on a guy like Donald Trump because there's so many variables to go into it. And I think that if Trump did anything that was improper, he would have been brought up on some kind of. Hold on. I'm not done. Hold on. If Trump did anything that were improper, he'd been brought up on some kind of charges, tax evasion, improper tax return filing, or something. But that's not happened. Why is that?
That's not what I said. I didn't say that he did something improper. I said what he tweeted wasn't accurate. If you don't have losses, how are you going to report losses that you don't have? That's what I mean,
if he did something that was wrong, then it would have been a problem. It would have been like, okay,
I'm going to repeat it again. I did not say that he did something wrong. What I say to you, because he tweeted that for tax purposes on real estate, you report losses in your taxes.
Okay.
So that's not necessarily true. Let's say you made $100 million this year. Net income.
I mean, I got it. I got what you said. I heard what you said.
You want to report,
sir? I heard what you said. You don't got to repeat yourself. So.
Okay. Now.
Okay.
Let's
Trump.
Move to the next
hold on. So Trump said that this is what he did. So you don't have any evidence that he didn't do that. And if he didn't do what he said he did, then it would have been a problem. He would have been brought up some kind of charges for tax evasion, but it didn't happen. So how do you know that he was not telling the truth? You have no evidence of that.
I'm going to repeat it one more time.
No. You don't got to repeat it. You don't got to repeat yourself, but you have no evidence, sir. Listen, sir. So you getting
so why are you talking about tax evasion?
Sir. You don't have any evidence that he was not telling the truth. Are you saying he was lying?
That he tell the truth. I'm not talking about tax evasion. Focus.
No, sir. Here's a question: are you saying that Trump was lying in the tweet?
He did lie in the tweet or
misled. So if he lied in the tweet, wait.
You report losses. That's not necessarily
what evidence do you have? Sir, you're on mute. So whenever you're ready to talk, I'll let you talk. But for right now, you said that Trump lied in the tweet. There's no evidence that he lied. If he lied, then there would have been some kind of follow-up from the federal government saying, okay, tax evasion, tax fraud, something would have been the result. You got a big magnifying glass on Donald Trump's record. So if that were to be the case, then we'd be in a whole different situation right now. We wouldn't be talking about, oh, well, maybe he did, maybe he didn't. You would have evidence, but you don't have evidence. So this is just your opinion. Oh, it couldn't have possibly been that because it is. In order for your statement to be true, you have to have evidence, and you don't have that.
Dude, you try to confuse the conversation. I'm talking about one thing. You're talking about tax evasion. I'm not talking about any of that stuff.
You said he lied. You said he lied, right?
Let me. Okay, can you let me talk and then you talk?
Sir, you said he lied, right?
I didn't. And he lied on the tweet.
So where's your evidence that where is the evidence that he lied?
The evidence is that not every real estate developer in America, or even if somebody has sell houses, just one house, if you have a gain, you don't report losses in your tax return because it doesn't exist. If you have a net income of $5 million, you report your $5 million. What losses you going to report? There's no losses. You understand what I'm saying? I think you don't understand me.
No, I mean, you're saying that it's impossible for him to say, it's possible for him to do what he did or to do what he said he did, but he said he did it.
Okay, let me explain to you.
Wait, sir, hold on. Before you continue, is what he said possible? Is it impossible for him to be correct in his tweet?
It's not correct because no every real estate person
is it impossible?
In America
the question was, sir. The mute. You're on mute. You're on mute again. The question was, is it impossible for Trump to be correct in his tweet? Yes or no?
It's not impossible to be correct, but
so if you're saying that
people.
If you're saying that you don't have evidence that he was not lying, and you're saying it's not possible. You're saying that it's not impossible.
No, but you talking over me. You let me.
This is my show. I can do what I want.
Okay, so they presented that he have $1 billion in losses over extra amount of years. That's what they reported, right? The news reported. That's correct?
Yes.
That's what the media reported. Then he tweeted that what these people are saying, they don't know what they're saying because in real estate, you report losses. That's not necessarily true. If you don't have losses.
Wait. So now you adding words in there. Not necessarily true. Either it's not true or it is true. And if it's not true, then you gotta have wait. If it's not true, then you gotta have evidence that it's not true. If it is true, then it's true. You take his word or don't take his word. If you don't take his word, prove him wrong. If you can't prove him wrong, sir. If you can't prove him wrong, it's just your opinion.
I just want to prove you wrong. You let me explain.
You don't have any proof because you said out of your mouth, well, it is possible for him to be telling the truth. So if it's possible, and you're saying that, oh, well, I know that he was lying, then all you're doing is giving your opinion.
So according to him, every person in America lost money in real estate.
No, he didn't say that. He didn't say that.
He didn't say that. For tax purposes, you report losses. That's not what he said.
He said real estate developers.
Real estate, you report losses. That's not what he tweeted.
He said developers back then. Everybody did that. That doesn't mean that 100% of everybody did the exact same thing that he did. He was speaking in the general
everybody
term.
report losses. Nobody won any money. Everybody lost money.
No. See, you're not. You were reporting
That's
losses.
That's what he says, right? So
sir,
that means
sir,
every
you
single
gotta
person lost.
All right, I'm gonna talk now since you're on mute. He wasn't trying to say that every person in the whole world or in the whole United States, reported losses and it didn't make any money. You would put down losses if possible, which are not all monetary, which you also said, which you forgot to mention, because the purpose is to pay as little as possible or zero in federal income tax. So you would keep more money by reporting that you lost money. And you said that it's possible for him to be telling the truth. But then you say at the same time, he was lying. So which one is it? If you say he's lying, you got to have evidence of him lying. You're not saying it's impossible for him to be telling the truth. So you're saying that it is possible for him to be telling the truth. He might not be lying. So what you're doing right now is giving your opinion, but we're kind of way over time. So I thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate it.
That's not true. So let's move on.
I thank you for the call. Because we got too much time. Thank you for the call.
Okay, let's talk about the audit.
Yeah, I mean, you can't take up the whole show, but thank you for the call. Let's get to some more. Hold on. I got super chats. Thank you to Aaron Hook. Hopefully I didn't butcher your name, who says, on the Ben Shapiro interview, Andrew Neil is not a liberal. He is a Thatcherite and most definitely not a man of the left. Yeah, I was getting that a lot from people over in UK, and shout out to you. I see you over in Europe as well. Yeah, I was getting that from a lot of people. And I didn't really know that much about him. I was just making an assumption about him. But I think the main thing was that he was taking the position of the opposite side to highlight what Ben Shapiro had been saying in previous interviews, in his book, Twitter, whatever the case may be. That's kind of his general thing that he does. Thank you to Truth Seeker for the donation. Definitely appreciate you. Truth Seeker, messing myself up. And thank you to AJRFR for the donation. Definitely appreciate you as well. But let me get to my next call here. 956 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Yeah, it's Alonso from Texas.
All right, Alonso, what's going on?
I just want to kind of, I saw your video about, Ben Shapiro against Andrew, and it sounds like you're kind of defending that Ben Shapiro there, and I noticed you didn't play the whole video about it.
Well, no, the whole video was long. I said in the beginning of the video, I'll play about 2 minutes of it. And if you want to see the full thing, it's in the description box. So it's about 10 minutes. So I want to make the video be like a half hour. I wanted to keep it short.
Yeah.
But
so there are some points where I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So you think that my take on it wasn't really a good take?
Yes, I have to say, because it sounds like you're defending Ben Shapiro. He asked some questions about how anybody who votes for any Jew who voted for Obama is a non-Jew and they should give back their Jew badge. He just asked him a question. He wasn't trying to attack him or anything, but he wasn't able to elaborate or give a good response to it. And then there was another one where he asked him about how Palestinians they build and Muslims destroy. So that was another one where Ben Shapiro said that. I mean, of course, he said that it was out of context, but it wasn't out of context. That's what he said. So he just I think he just overwhelmed him with those questions, and I think he just couldn't handle it. That's why he walked away.
Okay, so why was my take not right? Like, because I see, but go ahead.
I just feel like again you're trying to defend them, and I think if we would have played those little 2 bits, or a few questions, I think you would have seen why he wasn't he got obliterated basically.
But how was I trying to defend him?
Well, because you were saying that Andrew was like a leftist kind of journalist, stuff like that, and I don't think it didn't come off at all like that, to be honest.
Well, what I was saying in the video was that even though he may be a leftist, it doesn't really matter because he wasn't trying to attack Ben. I said that in the video, so I'm not really sure how that would be considered defending Ben. I think that maybe one thing you may have picked up on is that I said I understand where he's coming from because I've been in interviews before on TV. And I know how it can be to get ambushed by people and they just want to attack you and they don't want you to really answer questions. They'll say, well, you said this and you said this. At that point, it's like, all right, like, what are we doing? Are we having a debate? Is it an interview? Is it an attack? What's going on? So I understand why you would be kind of, put off. At the same time, you got to stay in there and just respond with facts. Don't let them get don't get rattled. Just respond with facts. That's the best way to go about it. So I was just, I was just putting myself in his shoes. Like, how would I feel? How would I think if I was in his shoes? But the guy, he was just representing the opposite of what Ben Shapiro was saying to highlight his points. And I also said to defend the interviewer, they did the same thing to somebody that was a leftist talking about UBI. And I played that video as well, and I put the full thing in the box. So I think I was kind of fair in it. I wasn't really trying to defend one side or the other.
Okay. Well, I got you. I just wanted to, more elaboration on that. I mean, I know even Ben Shapiro has come out and said he's a Zionist, by the way. So I'll take that for what it's worth. So,
hey, everybody got their opinion. Everybody got their point of view. Everybody got their things. People disagree with, but it is what it is. So, Ben, he learned from that, and I think he's going to tighten up from now on.
Yeah, no, he's good. I mean, like I said, I love your show. Just wanted to clarify. Okay, but it's good. It's good to hear that. That. I mean, it's all good.
Oh, no doubt, absolutely.
All right, keep up the good work, man.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. Yeah, Ben just, because I've been there. I've been on TV a lot. I've had interviews with people that they would say certain things, and I'm just like, what's going on here? Like, am I being attacked? And it can become pretty annoying. So I just feel where he was coming from. Not that I'm like, what I'm saying, but it is what it is. Let me get to my next call here. 210, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Brandon from San Antonio.
All righty, what's going on?
Nothing much. How you doing?
Everything is great. Can't complain.
Hey, so I just wanted to kind of do like a little speed round of just statements from past callers of what my opinion is. For the guy calling about the opioids, it sounds like he's pretty dependent on that, surgery or not. I've had friends that have had multiple back surgeries that are not worried about opioids and weren't even put on opioids. So it just seems like he's just depending on getting his drugs.
Could be.
That's just my opinion. And to I guess what's his name, Ivan. I don't know the Russian dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like it's a tired argument, but as American myself and as you and Trump, we don't have to show our taxes for anything. So I don't understand the whole argument of like, well, why didn't he show his taxes? Why doesn't he show all this? It's just the stupidest thing in the world. Like, it's like, because we don't have to. It's part of our laws. So we don't have to show you dick. I'm sorry to use that language, but it just had to be said. It's just a part of, the way America works. It's called privacy.
Yeah, and I'm not even really sure what the whole thing is about the tax returns. Like, what are you really going to find in the tax returns that you have not known so far? I just don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like what they say with like, oh, it's like, oh, well, he lost $1 billion. Well, yeah, he said that 13 years ago.
Right.
Or not 30, or not even 30, like what was it, like 23 years ago? Who knows? Like whenever The Apprentice started.
Right. It's not a secret that he lost money. So, people trying to say, oh, he lost $1 billion. It's like, okay, well, he told us that. So we're not.
He's gone bankrupt. He's gone bankrupt multiple times.
Right.
I don't know. I just think it's just funny how like people just get so like aggravated over like the tiniest things. And it's just like, dude, like the world's gonna work itself out. Like just chill.
Right.
Like I don't know. That's pretty much all I had. Yeah, I just thought it was just the opioid thing was just like, I was like, oh, give me a break. You're just a drug addict. I don't know that, I'm just giving my opinion. But it just seems that way because it just doesn't. I've had friends who've had so many back surgeries that, they just don't even use them or whatever. It's like I've had my own health problems where they put me on morphine for weeks and then I walk out of there and I don't need it anymore. So it's just like, and it's highly addictive as well. So it's just, I don't know. It just seems like he's, there's other options. It doesn't have to be an opioid.
That's right.
Yeah. So anyways, well, you have a good one. I'll let you get to rest of your calls.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Great, quick fire round right there. 100%. And thank you all for being here. Shout out to Super Chats. Thank you to West SJ408 who said watching you from the Bay Area with the prayer emoji and the heart. Thank you for that. Definitely appreciate you. And thank you to His Gaze for your donation. Mostly definitely appreciate you as well. Let me get to my next call here. 301, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, it's JB. What's up, brother?
Everything's good, man. What's going on?
Nothing much in a day and of a dollar. Oh, and the new I was trying to get early again with the GI Bill you was talking about. That's called the post 9/11 GI Bill. And it's you heard of that bill?
No.
Basically, post 9/11 is like it's a new GI Bill, and this one you can transfer into your kids as long as you paid enough into it, and they provide like $2,000 for your kids to go to school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's kind of dope. I use mine for online classes. They pay pretty good. But yeah. Did you? It's getting crazy out here. Like it's like Hillary Clinton called for everybody to pull up Donald Trump's trying to pull up Donald Trump's tax reforms, and all of a sudden they popped up a week later. You remember that interview she went on TV? It was what's her name? That lady from MSNBC. You know what I'm talking about?
Rachel Maddow?
Yeah, Rachel Maddow. Yeah, she's on her show, and also she called for it, and they both called for Donald Trump's what's the name to come out. You remember what I'm talking about?
No.
His tax forms to come out, and all of a sudden they came out with them. It called for China to pull them, and all of a sudden they came out with them.
No. Okay. Well, they came out with some old stuff, but I mean, like they've been trying to do that, and there's always like some little stuff leaking here and there. It's nothing really. They're gonna keep trying to do that just to try to make Trump look bad, but they're gonna find out over and over again that it's not really going to work out the way they intended.
Exactly, and then did you hear about these new gay and lesbian and the LGBTQ talking about Mother's Day, trying to ban Mother's Day. They say it's a sexist holiday towards transgenders and same-sex couples with kids. I'm like, come on, they're trying to take everything from us.
Yeah, really.
It's getting overrated now. You know what I'm saying? It's getting to the point of like it's getting sickening. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, it is.
And then that last call is an idiot. He's talking about, well, Trump did this. You can't claim on $5 million. He does the bare minimum taxes. So basically, he's H&R type kind of guy.
Yeah, H&R Block. Yeah, you're in Walmart in the front.
Yeah, and QuickBooks. Yeah, okay, whatever. They ain't doing my taxes. But yeah, it's getting crazy out here. And now, you know that everybody's putting these little posts up on Facebook. They're about to impeach Donald Trump. And everybody's cheering for us. You do realize this is fake. You do realize that, right?
And see, they don't
You
really
notice
care.
that on Facebook?
They don't care that it's fake because they just want anything to be anti-Trump, and they can share it, and it can give them a little bit of joy in their life. That's pretty much what they are focused on.
Exactly, but they don't understand is that who's going to beat him. And then I also saw your video that you and Lucas did about the Baltimore mayor. She shouldn't have got fired for that. She really shouldn't have.
Yeah, that was crazy. I
Anchorwoman-
mean, I thought it was valid because right when the whole the fight when she resigned, I was thinking the same exact thing in my head. It's like, okay, you got a pattern here.
Yeah.
They probably should do something else or just try it and see what happens.
Exactly, because every black female they put in here, no offense, I'm a black man, so I can say this, people. I'm a black man, disclosure. Mess it up. They take money they shouldn't take. Baltimore's the most corrupt city in the world. Do you know the show The Wire is filmed there? And everything they said about The Wire is true.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty much all right there. You can see it.
And so many people don't understand when I say this. So look, I am from D.C. Trust me, Baltimore is not the city you want to be messing around with. And Milan ABL.
Hey, you're not lying, not at all.
And the sad thing about this whole thing is that just because you're a black female or African American female, that you can win any race nowadays, which is crazy. Just because you're black, that's
right.
crazy. And she had a valid point there. And then you got to like some more from CNN who said we don't need white males. She can say that comfortably, but another guy, a white male, can't say that about a black female or a black male without losing their job. It's a double standard. And everybody gets mad when I say they always say sell. They've had power too long. I said the oppressors come to oppress you, and that's messed up. I said we're just as bad as the KKK if we're just going after people, but ruining people's lives over a comment.
Right.
And then I also seen that. Did you hear about that guy named Mark Lamar Lemon? What his name is?
Mark Lamont Hill or Don Lemon?
Yeah, Mark Hill. He was talking about how he's trying to get CNN to rehire him, but they're not hiring him, but he's still in the books though. You know that?
You trying to get who to hire him?
I'm trying to get back with CNN, but they're not trying to hire him back. That's the crazy part.
That's funny.
And then, but he's still on the books getting paid. Like he's on suspension, but they still have contract for the year.
Yeah, that's how they do it. That's how they're gonna do. Jussie Smollett on this show. They're gonna continue to have him on the books, but they won't pay him. So there might be a contract where you can't go anywhere else. And yeah, so and then also they might not have been able to fire him directly without violating some kind of rule from the EEOC or whatever. So it's like, okay, we're not gonna fire you, but we won't have you on TV anymore. So it's one of those things going on.
Exactly. Well, see, that's the crazy thing about it. That thing irritates me the most about this stuff. He's still getting paid $160 million, $160,000 a year. Just he's like $100,000 an episode for doing nothing.
Yeah.
And he did nothing. And that's the thing that makes me mad about this place. That's the really reason why I'm starting to hate the United States. We're getting soy boy and simpish like, and everybody's always in their feelings about everything. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, it's getting kind of weird.
Well, all right, ABL, I'm not going to hold you too much long, but one more thing I ask you now. Okay, how far are you getting days going? I'm stuck. I'm frustrated. I'm ready to break the game.
All I did was rent it from Redbox. I don't have it, so once my rental was out, I turned it back. So yeah, I'm good.
It's good, but it's not like, oh my God, I gotta have it.
It's not. That's why I wanted to rent it because I was like, okay, let's see what's going on here. And I could tell that it was going to be what you're saying right now, not really a game that is going to be like, oh wow, this is great. So yeah, I'm good on that one.
And I'm mad as heck now. I just wasted $50 on the game.
Right.
And I'm just in my feelings.
Exactly.
All right, brother, man. Keep the faith up, man. And hey, you creeping up on 300,000, brother. You creeping up.
I'll be getting there soon, man.
Yeah, man, I'm putting the word. I post on my Facebook. I send everybody when I post your post every time I put your videos up there. Like, oh, he's a coon, he's a racist, and so are you. I'm like, what makes me a coon? And then it makes me so mad. You got white people call me Uncle Tom and call me N-word, and I'm like, you do realize that's racist to call me that? He's like, no, I've got black friends, and they agree with me. So you feel you can call me the N-word because you have black people calling me. I say, you know what?
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
That's crazy.
And then the same people defend him like he's doing something righteous because he's calling me N-word.
Right.
Okay, yeah, you know what? Y'all the biggest idiots ever in the world. Okay, cool. Keep doing your thing. All right, ABL, my bad. Have a nice one, brother.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, bye-bye.
All right. Thank you to JB for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. What he said about white folks trying to call you the N-word, Uncle Tom, Coon, all that. Yeah, that happens. And they do it a lot in these closed groups where can't nobody see them, especially on Facebook. They're really big there. It's crazy. But, hey, you know, it is what it is. Let me get to my next call here. And there's a lot of calls coming in. Thank you all for calling. I really, really appreciate you guys. 901, you don't line. Who am I speaking to?
Yeah, this is Michelle Espinosa from Memphis, Tennessee.
All righty. What's going on?
Well, I was listening to what the gentleman earlier, I forgot his name, he's on all the time. I really like to hear him. He sounds like one of those like rock and roll guys or something. I don't know. But he was talking to you guys about how they're disarming the American citizens and they're arming the criminals. And they're not really able to take the guns from the criminals because we know the criminals are going to hide them and, you know, we're not going to know. But did you hear about the report that back during Obama administration they had brought in 200 Afghan soldiers for special training operations here in the United States? And I believe they were training in Florida, and 150 of them dropped off the face of the earth right here in the United States.
I did not hear about that.
Okay, two different people had reported on it. Do some research on it. Look it up. It's pretty serious. We have at least 150 Afghan soldiers that dropped off the face of the earth, probably decided to betray. They're claiming they went AWOL. I don't know if they were on medication or what, but AWOL my foot. It's more like they betrayed us and they disappeared here in their sleeper cells.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. I mean, you know, I've heard stories about that, like in the military overseas, and people that they'll train soldiers over there, like the locals, Iraqis or Afghans or whatever, and then they come back and they attack the people that trained them.
They attack the opposite side. Yes, it's been happening way too much. It's happened to all countries. It happened to Iran. It happened to Iraq. I mean, both of them turned their backs on us as soon as we got them armed. But anyhow, there's a whole lot of people in Mexico from these foreign countries right now. They're trying to get in on this amnesty deal, and they're not showing us on our medium. I mean, they're not showing us the numbers, but it's a huge number, a really, really huge number. And we have people from Africa, we have people from the Middle East, we have people from Haiti, and of course all the South Americans. Now they've been holding the African people kind of hostage, especially the ones from Congo. And there's a whole crap load of them. How those people get over here is because they have a lot of immigrants that are already here in the United States that are sending them like $3,000 to get here. So I'm like, how did these people get there? But also the United Nations is probably running out of funds to send them over here. So they're getting family members that we already have here to send them. But we don't want Ebola here. But the truth is, you can do the research. There is hundreds or if not thousands of people from Africa coming from these places where disease is, let's just put it this way, the soldiers are killing the aid workers and it's taken over. So this is information why I am so for Trump building the wall. We have to have protection for us. We can't just let anybody, and they're not going to always be checked. They're going to get away from the Border Patrol. They're going to sneak in, and we're not going to know if they're terrorists. The terrorists aren't going to go through our Border Patrol and get checked and embedded and claim asylum. The terrorists are going to know how to get away. They're going to know how to get in here. But, I mean, with this for real note, we already have 150 Afghan soldiers that have disappeared and dropped off the face of the earth right here in the United States.
That's right. That's definitely a problem because they could be anywhere doing anything. I think it just found an ISIS compound in Alabama or some kind of, I don't know if it was ISIS. There you go. Yeah, it was a compound. I don't know if it was ISIS, but it was some kind of Muslim extremist compound. Yeah. Oh, caller, I don't know. Are you there? Okay, I think caller might have.
They all got connections together, and then the ones we trained, it just all became an ISIS.
That's right.
It's It's just a network that all works together. That's all it is. It's just called ISIS now.
Exactly.
So that's all I wanted to say. I just wanted everyone to do that research and find out, but they don't want to tell us, our media, about what's going on with the Congo people down there in Mexico, and they don't want to tell us about these terrorists that are out running around in our country. But, you know, they don't want to put us in a panic, and they don't want the wall to look good. I understand why.
Right, exactly. All right. Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you. All right. Shout out to the caller. Most certainly appreciate her. And yeah, I'm gonna show you guys this video right quick. This is from Jack Pasabik on Twitter, and it says breaking: FBI uncovers radical Islamic compound in Alabama training children for jihad, linked to New Mexico. Excuse me. 313 on the line. I'm speaking to.
What's up, man? It's John from Detroit. How you doing?
Everything's good, man. Can't complain.
All right. I want to talk about three different things. So I'm going to talk about these drugs first. The thing about drugs, I'm fairly libertarian. I really don't care what people do. But I don't think the government should be supporting that lifestyle. Like, I think that's the problem with the drugs over in San Francisco, is you have the government giving out needles, and then the government is taking care of them. So they're basically preventing the natural reaction to doing all these drugs, which is usually overdose. If these people would kill themselves and get themselves out of the gene pool, if, you know, you just leave them alone. But what the government has decided to do is that they just basically going to babysit them. So you're going to have all these people sitting around doing drugs, and that's just not healthy. That's where you get all the feces and all that crazy stuff from. Like, these people would just OD and be done with it, or they would hit rock bottom, or they would bounce back and get over it. But when you got the government holding your hand through the whole situation, it's never going to end. You'll be on drugs forever. But so I think that's my idea. I know it's, for some people, it's feel like it's mean spirited or whatever, but I think that people have to deal with themselves. They have to take responsibility for themselves, and people are not going to get clean unless they want to get clean. And I think that's with any drug at all, period. But the reason I really called was the marijuana thing is not really working. Now, what's happening here in Michigan is that the legal drugs are not selling. It's the illegal drugs that are selling.
Okay, so
people are still...
hold on right quick. So in Michigan, you guys have legal recreational marijuana, right?
Yep.
But that's not selling. It's the illegal drugs that are selling?
Yes, because the bureaucracy and the taxes have made the legal drugs too expensive. So now you have dope dealers on every corner selling their illegal weed, and they sell just enough for them to say, well, if they get caught with it, it's mine. But, you know, I think it's still illegal to sell it, but they only carry enough, so you would think that it's their personal stuff.
Oh, wow. And so all they're really doing is just enabling the local dope boys. They get caught. It's like, no, that's mine. I ain't trying to. You can't arrest them for intent to distribute because they don't have enough to go over that threshold of being that. It's just personal use.
Yep, and that's exactly what's going on. And it just hit the news the other day, and people were kind of scratching their head about it. But this is kind of what people were saying when the bill first passed, because you can't beat street prices. You just can't beat it. And the government, and California is another thing, where all the money that they expected, California is only getting about half of the tax revenue that they were expecting from illegal drugs. So it's not working. that just does not work. But and I don't know what they're gonna do with the like, I know the shrooms, the psilocybin, it's supposed to be helpful for people who have certain disorders. But I think one of the big problems we have in the United States is we have overprescribed drugs.
Yes.
Where we have drugs for everything.
Yes.
We're raising kids basically on drugs. So that's the major problem with the drugs. People are just so used to doing something that, you got something when you're down, something when you up, something if you sleep too much, something if you don't sleep enough. And that is becoming a problem. I think that's the major problem is the culture around it. It's not really the drugs themselves. This is why I really don't mind people doing drugs, because I know that certain people need it. And for certain people, they just want to try it because they have no quality of life. But when you have a drug for everything, people have too much of the drugs. And that's a huge problem.
That's a problem right there. It's just like you said, it's a culture surrounded. It's a culture surrounding drugs. Oh, take a drug for this, take a drug for that. Too happy, too sad, too sleepy, too hyperactive. It's all drug. It's too much.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of people, like I said earlier, it's hard for me to say that the government should do something because I don't know what the government should be doing. But I can see that looking at it from everybody's perspective, legalizing these things aren't working because they can't get the money from the taxes. So you're basically just enabling the dope boys. And then banning is not working because now you're arresting people for putting substances in their own body. So it's a tough decision. It's a tough situation, and I can understand the argument on both sides. So I really try not to take too much of a stance. I try to look at really what the drug kind of makes you do.
Yeah.
Like we know that PCP and cocaine can lead you to thinking you're invincible and running through walls and beating people up and stuff. But alcohol does the same thing, and so that's a totally difficult situation to look at. But did you see the guy who had all of the guns in California?
Yeah, I saw that. Now, was there anybody that was blamed for having it? Because they said they went into a house, but they didn't say who the home belonged to.
Okay, apparently a guy was renting out this mansion or whatever, and the guy who owned the mansion was called the police or something like that. And when the guy showed up, the police were already there. He got arrested.
Oh.
But he had 1,000 guns. And I remember seeing literally 1,000 guns. And I was on Twitter and people were talking about this, and they was using the same conservative jokes like, oh yeah, he just he needs all these guns to go hunting. He's a white supremacist who wanted to kill all these people. And it was the situation was far simpler than that. The guy was just a gun dealer. Okay, like he just sold people guns. So it's still illegal because I think most of the guns were illegal, but people are just so scared of guns. And it's like it's gotten really ridiculous that this panic about an inanimate object has gotten people so wound up. And I know it's because it was a school shooting the other day that kind of dropped down the memory hole because of the shooters. Because one of the shooters was gay and the other one was a transgendered boy.
Yeah,
or something like that.
It was they were born as a girl, and then they decided to identify as a boy. And something else I saw was that their father was an illegal immigrant that had a record.
But like that school shooting, really kind of fell down the memory hole. And I was like, well, I remember when it first happened, it was everywhere. And then I started seeing people was talking about the shooters, whether the shooters was a white supremacist. Obviously, they always go to white supremacists first. It's just kind of like, smash in case of school shooting. But when it turns out to be two LGBT students or whatever,
yeah,
and I didn't even know it was two of them. I just thought it was the one transgendered boy. And they just fell off the face of the earth. And I don't know, man. Like the media is something else with their agendas. Like it's really strange that they don't seem to care too much about the victims of gay people. Or there was another hate crime where this black boy jumped this Jewish man from behind in New York. He just hit the guy for no reason. Like it was a video of the black boy jumping this Hasidic Jew and hitting him from behind, and that didn't make the news either.
You said it was in New York.
Yeah, it was in New York.
Yeah, that's not surprising because I could tell you what happened. A lot of the Hasidic Jews up there are landlords, And there's some hostility between blacks in these areas that are becoming gentrified, or it might not even be gentrified. It could just be a guy has a spot, he has more money. It could become some jealousy, and then they just want to lash out at him because he looks different. So that's it's a lot of tension like that in New York between them.
See, I didn't know that because I when I saw the video, I was like, why would a dude do that?
Yeah.
Like, and he's like about a teenage black kid too. I'm thinking like maybe somebody put him up to it. But if he was like the landlord or, maybe he owned some store or something like that, then I could see why he would jump from. But it was still stupid.
Right.
And that didn't make the national news either. I mean, could you imagine some white kid jumping some sort of kind of middle-aged black dude from behind and just hitting him and running off? Like that'd have been everywhere.
Yes, absolutely.
But the final thing I want to talk about is the heartbeat bill. Now, I'm not pro-abortion. I really hate it. It's a human being, and I think once we start looking at one of the things that I've noticed is the dehumanization of infants and babies and stuff.
Yeah.
They started comparing them to cancers and parasites, and I saw that that was actually posted on Twitter in a classroom where a teacher compared an unwanted fetus to a parasite to cancer, and it was shortly before the heartbeat bill came out. And I was telling people this is how it started. Like Hitler started calling Jews rats. It's kind of a way of dehumanizing. Blacks are chimps. Your monkeys. It makes it easier to kill if you think that it's not a human life.
That's right.
And you had this woman who went on TV and literally said that it's not a human being. Like these things don't make any sense. Like, how could you give birth to something that's not human? These people are ridiculous. And now you have Alyssa Milano, this wicked witch of Hollywood, who's just bored and needs attention with this sex strike, which is actually just doing what conservatives want her to do, which is not have crazy sex and spread STDs. Thanks.
Right, yeah, you did. That's actually a pretty good favor, so I appreciate her for that 100%.
Thank you. So being a responsible adult to own the cons, great. All right, man. I'm listening to the rest of the show. Have a good stream, and I'll talk to you later.
All right, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
No problem.
All right, great call from my man from Detroit. And I'm going to show you guys this right quick. It's a little graphic, so if you kind of squeamish, but what I'm going to show you is it's a womb being operated on the outside, and the baby is grabbing the doctor's hand. So if you're squeamish, look away right quick. But so I don't see how anybody can call this baby that's holding a doctor's hand while the surgery is being done in utero a parasite or something. That is a human being right there. 1,000% a human being. But then you got people like this lady on CNN talking about it's not a baby.
When a woman gets pregnant, that is not a human being inside of her. It's part of her body.
I mean, they talk about conservatives not believing in science, but they don't believe in science. But let me get to my next call. All right, Jordan, what's going on?
Nothing much.
Your microphone is messing up. Nah, it's real bad. It sounds like a lot of static. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, try to call back. All right. You guys couldn't hear Jordan because his audio was he was in the cloud, so I just put it on mute right quick. But let me get to, you got a lot of calls tonight. I'm going to try to get to everybody as soon as I can. Y'all just hang tight. Let me see. Okay, let's go. I'm going to get Jordan in a minute. I'm going to take this call, and then I'm going to try to get back to Jordan. Okay, let's go to 916 on the line. I'm going to speak it to.
Hi, Anthony. It's Charlotte.
Alrighty, what's going on?
Hi. Remember that video you did about the Pennsylvania rep bullying the little girls outside the Planned Parenthood?
Yes.
Yes. Did you see Laura Ingram's interview with the mom of those girls last night?
I didn't see the one last night, but I did see her talk about the situation. But I did not see the one last night.
Yeah, she had the mom of the little girls on her show last night, and the rep actually did, quote unquote, apologize for his actions to the mother, but she said she rejected the apology because it wasn't sincere.
Yeah, it wasn't
on
sincere.
The interview.
It was not sincere.
Yeah.
I saw the apology. It was not an apology.
Mm-hmm.
All he did was just explain why he did it. He was like, well, I've been out here for a long time. I've seen the abuse of people that go into the Planned Parenthood, and I'm an escort. He was just saying, he was explaining to people that didn't know who he is and why he did it. But there was not an actual apology to the people that were involved. He was just trying to justify what he did. That's all.
Yes, exactly. And she was also explaining, how, Laura Ingram, too, they were both just saying how crazy the situation was because, they were just minding their own business. They weren't doing anything. They were just walking. And here he comes, approaching them and just saying all these mean things, for no reason, basically, just to get attention, he didn't want to hear what she had to say or anything.
Yeah, he was a bully because, the mother was trying to talk to him. He was not interested in that because you have an adult that's not backing down. But he want to talk to the young girls because he felt like he can just be, he can intimidate them. The same thing we talked to the young man when he stood his ground and he didn't look away, he didn't cower. He didn't want to talk to him anymore because it's like, oh, I can't bully him. But then the old lady, he was talking to her for almost 10 minutes constantly because she was showing weakness. So he felt like he could just bully her and be stronger than her. So I don't like guys like that. They're weak, they're bullies, and people like that, I want to fight. So I didn't like that.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think he should be kicked out of office for what he did. I mean, there's no excuse for a elected official like that, especially nationally, to, harass his own citizens like that. That's
right.
Inexcusable.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. But, the bullying thing, I totally agree with you. I mean, I've been bullied my whole life in school for, stupid reasons. And so I always learned at a young age how to deal with bullying, which is to not let it get to you because that's what gets to them.
Right. They want a reaction. They want a certain thing from you. And if you don't give it to them, then, but what I always say is to anybody that try to, bully, I say just go ahead and hit them one time in the head. Because really, when they feel like they can do whatever to you, and that it'll just continue. That's what I would do. Like if I was there, if I was there, he wouldn't have done that because he knows that. I'm a pretty big dude. He knows that it'll be a fight, and bullies are the biggest cowards. If you punch them in the face one time, they start busting out crying.
Yeah. Well, I'm not particularly into violence, even if it is to defend yourself, but. When I was in college, I did this charity for Halloween with my professional fraternity. We were giving out candy to the local kids who, because, the city that I was in, it's not safe for people to go out at night because there's a lot of crime. And so, we always host the event for the mom, the parents and the kids to trick or treat at the college. And then all of us, passed out candy. Well, the event was such a huge success that we were running out of candy to give to all the kids. So I couldn't give too much to just one person. And I tried to just give the candy to the children, not any of the adults. And then there was this one, I don't think she was even a mother. She was maybe an aunt or something, these two little girls. She demanded that I give her candy. I said, I'm sorry, but I cannot do that because I need to give them to the children. And she literally just went right into my face, started giving me all these death threats. Like she was going to beat me down, oh, you stupid little white girl, how dare you reject me, blah, 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 And I just literally stood there. I stayed calm. I just looked at her in the face. I said, ma'am, I'm sorry, but I cannot give you candy. I didn't move. I didn't blink. I just looked at her, and she just walked away. And my entire fraternity saw the whole thing, and their jaws just dropped. They were like, how did you not hit her or do anything? I was just like, because I don't believe in that. I just believe if you stay calm and, you don't react, you just stay firm to what, you believe in, things will work itself out. And it did. That's my advice to anybody else out there who, experiences these type of problems.
Sounds great to me. Absolutely.
Yeah. And then the thing about the abortion, too, is I'm, generally pro-life. I think if you get pregnant and it's something that you really don't want, maybe, your financial situation or, you're too young, why are we not, talking about adoption?
That is a great point.
Why is that, totally not being talked about? There is so many lovely people in this country that want kids, that can provide them with a great home and a great life, but can't have kids. Why are we not doing something about that? I just feel like there's always another solution than just killing, a baby. I think that should be always the last solution, and then if we're going to have a debate about this, I'm fine with that, but can we at least keep science in the equation? That's all I want to keep, I just want to keep facts in the debate. That's all.
I mean, I hear you. So, and I think, adoption is not in the conversation because it's not even about, it's not about anything else other than convenience. That's all. They don't want to carry the baby. They don't want to go through the whole thing. It's getting in the way of their personal life. That's why they want to have the abortion. It's not about anything else. And then also, like the previous caller was saying, they're trying to dehumanize the babies to make it easier to kill. So if you think it's a parasite or some kind of thing that is, it doesn't belong in your body, then it's easier for you to say this is an inconvenience and I don't want it, rather than saying this is a human being whose life I should preserve and let's go for adoption.
Yes. And then on that one caller that was talking about we should legalize drugs or whatever, I just wanted to point out, certain historical facts of these type of things. In the 19th century, we pretty much had all those drugs, including illegal drugs, legal, like cocaine and heroin and marijuana. Coca-Cola is called Coca-Cola because it had Coke in it, and people don't remember this, but a lot of people, Civil War vets, people who had, injuries or whatever would go to doctors. They would provide them cocaine for pain management because that was the biggest remedy back then was cocaine for pain management. And people got so hooked so fast that it was literally so difficult to stop, the addiction rate, and people died of overdoses so much during that time period that the government had to make it illegal to get it to stop. People don't remember that, it is a big problem. You can't just say, oh, legalizing it will solve it. It doesn't solve it, believe me.
This is why history is really important. People don't remember certain things that have happened. They're talking about, what could happen, what may happen. Let's just look a little bit back and see what actually did happen when this thing was put into effect. So that's a very good point you raised.
Yes. And then I just wanted to ask you, do you know why exactly the Republican Senate committee subpoenaed Donald Trump Jr.?
I don't know. I did hear about that, but I don't know exactly what happened there.
Okay. Because I just find it confusing, why they would do that when he was already subpoenaed before about the same thing. I'm just confused, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you, ABL. I just wanted to give you a call about the like I said, the mom about the PA rep, she went on Laura Ingram's show. I just wanted to let you know, maybe you want to see the clip, for yourself. And then, just, keep doing what you're doing. And also, it's Donald Trump's birthday, I'm pretty sure. So, happy birthday to President Trump as well.
All righty. Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Yep. Thank you. Bye.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Is today Trump's birthday for real? Hold on. Let me look it up. Let me see. Now, his birthday is June 14th. Not too far from June 19th, Juneteenth. So shout out to Juneteenth. That's actually my dad's birthday and my uncle's birthday. Not my dad's brother, but my dad's uncle. They got the same birthday, June 19th. So shout out to everybody. It's coming up soon. And, tomorrow is Mother's Day. So shout out to all the moms out there. Hopefully you guys enjoy your day. You get your good gifts or whatever it is. Shout out to you. Thank you for being a mom. Thank you for helping life go forward on planet Earth. All right. Let's go back to Jordan right quick. All right, Jordan, you there?
Please tell me it's working.
It's working now.
All right, that's good. How's everything going, ABL?
Everything's good, man. Can't complain.
That's good. Yeah, it's a long time. You know a YouTuber by the name of Pro Jared?
I don't know who that is, but I've been seeing a lot of stuff on social media about this person. I have no idea who that is, what's going on, or anything.
I'll tell you right quick because it's of interest. So he's a gaming channel that's been in a lot of drama lately. He broke up with it. He divorced his wife over Twitter, and then his wife started revealing ex-wife started revealing all sorts of stuff about him being unfaithful. And people started bringing up that he was sending them pictures of his private parts and started posting on the internet. And his subscriber count on YouTube, which was over 1 million before all this happened, went down to like 800,000 in like 1 or 2 days.
Wow.
So it's just basically just internet drama.
Okay, I see.
So, yeah. But it's weird. It's like people treat Twitter like an entirely different world from reality. And then when both of them come together, all hell breaks loose.
I see.
Yeah, but that's pretty much what it is, because I thought people were familiar, but it was just something that interesting that happened in the past few days.
Now, what is he? What kind of YouTuber is he? He's just like, what does he do?
He reviews, he does stuff with video games. That's it.
Okay, all right.
That's it. The whole Brian Sims thing, with the protest in Philadelphia over the Planned Parenthood. Yeah, there's a YouTube channel named John Ward who pointed out all of the problems that the Planned Parenthood there had, including not having inspection dates on time and a bunch of other stuff. And somebody dug up this video back in 2017 of a black guy trying to talk with Brian Sims as he was walking about wanting to talk with him about, the issues regarding IPEG and Planned Parenthood and all that stuff. I think that's what he was trying to talk to him about. And Brian Sims just walked away. I sent it over on Facebook, but people had dug that up and used it to embarrass him more, because he likes to talk about people of color and all that stuff. And then when a person of color decides to talk to him about these issues, he just runs off.
Yeah, I saw that. That was funny. But that's what he does. He's a coward. That's why I don't like guys like that. People that try to be, try to show off and be all big and bad in front of people that they feel like they're weaker than. But then when it comes somebody in your face and they're confronting you, you want to run away and you don't want to see people like that. Like, yeah, I don't like.
Yeah, it's like, and it's so weird too. Like, on top of the video you posted about him, like the video you showed on the YouTube video he had about him, there was another video of him doing the same thing to three young girls who were protesting Planned Parenthood, saying to get their numbers and dox them and all that stuff.
Yeah. And
he called them all white, even though one of them clearly wasn't white.
Yeah, I saw that. I think I had that part in my video, or at least some of it, because that's when they were with the mom. And she had her 2 daughters. Her daughters were 13 and 15, and the girl that was with him was one of the daughter's friends, and she was 15 as well, but she wasn't even white. So
yeah, you can just look at the video and you can tell she wasn't white.
yeah, but see, he don't even really care. He just sees light skin and then goes to the whole white thing right away. The guy has problems. The guy has some serious problems, and I could tell it comes from his childhood. Hopefully, he goes to, get some professional help because
Or just get out of office.
Get out of office first, and then go sit on somebody's couch and get all them demons worked out of you.
Because the reason why he's in this position in the first place is because in Philadelphia, no one's running against him.
Yeah, he's going unopposed all the time.
Yeah, all the time, and it's like I think it's about time somebody fills that void to get him out.
100%.
What else was I going to talk about? Oh yeah, the Ben Shapiro debate. Yeah, I saw that. I saw the full thing on the internet, and I have to say I kind of sympathize and kind of want to ridicule Ben a little because I don't. The host isn't a liberal. He's actually kind of conservative.
Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot his name, but
Andrew Neil.
And I hate how he phrased the questions. Like one thing that I hate about some journalists is because they make these assumptions first and then ask questions to you. Like when he mentions, talks about abortion and he says, "Oh, you're taking us back to the Dark Ages. Yeah. These are extreme. Blah blah blah. Why are you supporting this?" It's like let's say you supported a Jim Crow law for non-racist reasons. But then he says, these laws, only racists support these laws. Why are you supporting them? And then you have to defend yourself instead of answering the question that was posed because he made an assumption about you that was incorrect. Because if you didn't defend yourself, people would assume that you are, that guy, that a racist or whatever.
Well, yeah, like I've had it done to me before where they ask a question that's kind of loaded, but you just got to know how to answer the question. Like if somebody were to ask me, well, aren't these laws racist? Don't they negatively affect black people? Or I would say, well, no, they don't. And here's why. I would go through all the reasons why they don't in a nice and calm manner. I wouldn't necessarily try to defend myself. I would just defend the truth. And that's the way you got to go about it. And some interviews, it becomes defensive when they're attacking you without any intention of having you actually answer the question. A prime example would be if you have an interview and they're asking you questions that are loaded, you're trying to answer the question, then they keep cutting you off all the time. At that point, they're not really trying to hear your answer. But if they give you some time to answer the question, then at that point, it's like, okay, I know he's not necessarily trying to attack me. He's just giving me tough questions. That happens because he did the same thing to a lady that was talking about UBI who was like a leftist. So his whole stance is just to give you the opposite point of view from the speaker and also to represent those that may feel that way about the particular speaker. So he just misread the situation and didn't handle it properly.
Yeah, I do have to kind of criticize Ben though, because it seems like every time, can you still hear me?
I hear you fine, yeah.
Okay, every time something like Israel or Palestine or Hamas is brought up, he gets that emotional. It is very prevalent throughout the interviews he does. Like when he was criticized for the Lewandowski situation during the election, and people were making fun of him with the Jew merchant meme and all that stuff. He played the victim. He was like, I'm getting these anti-Semitic attacks and all that other stuff, and he actually got some support from the left for that. And then he when somebody criticized his position on Israel, he automatically turn it against them and make them look to be the devil and all that stuff. He tends to do that, and I saw that within the interview when his past comments on Twitter were brought up, and he had to defend them. And although he was at a point clarifying what he meant by that, saying that he did mess up, he did kind of get emotional at that point.
He did, yeah.
And it kind of just goes against the moniker of facts don't care about your feelings. That's his whole stance. But when you do things like that, you're kind of defeating the purpose of that.
That's right.
So yeah, that's just all I have to say on that. The Baltimore incident. Yeah, she shouldn't have gotten fired. It actually, the whole situation with Baltimore and its leadership, it actually makes it look very bad on black women. If you have corrupt black woman after corrupt black woman stepping down from positions of power or mayoral positions in Baltimore, and the cycle just keeps continuing. It actually looks kind of bad.
It looks really bad. It looks terrible. And the thing is, it's like, okay, at a certain point, let's try something else. You got these people, like, and really, it's a lot of black female Democrats. And I said it before in a previous video that you in a black city, Baltimore, everybody's Democrat. So if you are a black person, you have the D next to your name, they're going to vote for you regardless. But let's try something else. I was seeing interviews in the street with people in Baltimore, and they were disappointed. They were talking about, oh, this is just like, Sheila Dixon all over again. So they know the history of the mayors that have done things like this. So I'm thinking, all right, let's try something else. How about maybe a conservative? They could be a black woman. That'd be fine. But it'd be a whole different ideology. Because they got a guy in there right now who's an interim mayor, Jack Young, black male Democrat, who was under Catherine Pugh, the mayor that just resigned. So he's not going to do anything really good. And you're going to bring somebody else in there next time that's going to be the exact same way. Try something different. Maybe it'll work. So it was a valid question. I was thinking the exact same thing when I saw the story initially. So she was saying what a lot of us are already thinking.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Do you have any faith in Baltimore as this cycle continues?
I mean, it can come back because, let's not forget, New York City at one point was in really bad shape. Manhattan was, off the chain because you had so much drugs and pornography, all kind of stuff right down there at Times Square. But now it has been fixed. Excuse me. Bill de Blasio was trying to roll some of those things back, unfortunately, but Giuliani, when he came in there, he fixed it right on up. The drugs, all that negative stuff, it just kind of went away. It really improved. LA right now, with all the homelessness and the gang banging, that kind of resembles what New York was like in the 80s.
Yeah, I mean,
so if New York can get fixed, I think Baltimore can get fixed as well, especially in a state like Maryland with so much money. I mean, there's no excuse for Baltimore to be the way it is.
Yeah, I mean, people are bringing up Chicago. There are many, you can.
Uh-oh. Jordan, I think you froze, boss. Okay. Yeah. Let me see if Jordan will connect again.
Oh, boy.
Okay, you there?
Can you hear me?
You're good. Okay. You kind of just froze up.
Okay, that's good. Yeah. You still hear me, right?
I hear you fine. Go ahead.
Okay. So, yeah, you can look back at 70s and 80s with Chicago and LA, and they all look a lot better than they do now. It's like ever since Democrats took over, unfortunately, things kind of went down the edge. And, when Rudy Giuliani came into New York City and became mayor, it became a lot better because his response to 9/11 was pretty good. Crime was going down, all sorts of stuff,
That's right. I'm with you. I hear you. You good.
Okay. But that's all I got to say. So I'm going to, Los Angeles needs to be fixed bigly. Hip hop independent. It needs to. But I'll catch up with you later, ABL. I'm going to relax.
All right. Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Not a problem. Have a good stream. Peace.
All right. Peace. All right. Thank you to Jordan for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. Let me get to my next call here. All righty, Nico, what's going on?
Hello, Anthony. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hold on. All right, can you hear me now?
I hear you perfectly.
All right. Well, I'm back. I'm back home from Seattle, and to be honest, it was actually pretty fun, to be frank. Although the people were it was kind of rough with the people at first, but it was still a really nice city, especially Discovery Park.
Okay, now what is that, Discovery Park?
Oh, it's a hiking trail that's sort of a bit in the northwest, a bit northwest in Seattle, and when you get to the end, there's a lighthouse out there, and you get to see I think you can see Mount Olympia from there.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, there is a lot of beautiful hiking trails, and also the Space Needle. I mean, it was quite an experience. But to be honest, I just want to say this. because I live in a big state like California, and I bet the same would apply to some who live in these big states like Texas, Florida, New York State itself. But but I guess when you live in states that big, you often don't realize how big America is compared to like let's say you live in New Hampshire, and then you'd probably cross the state from east to west at the same distance from the East Bay to Sacramento. You kind of get what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just kind. I guess you kind of feel like you're going to another country in a sort of way.
Yeah.
I digress. I digress. I mean, so I just want to say this when I heard these people talking, when I went to a couple bars with this group of people I was with, I heard these people, they were talking about Trump. They're like, "Oh my God, Trump sucks. Did you hear what Trump did?" I mean, don't get me wrong. It's okay to talk. I understand what people they talk about, whether they like him, whether they hate him, that kind of stuff. But it's just it constantly keeps going on. It's like in every part of our culture because of how it just kind of beats a dead horse to a point. And I understand people like you who talk about politics for a living, but doesn't it get really tiring after a while? And don't you want to hear people talk about other things?
Yeah, like if I'm at a bar or something like that, well, I don't drink or anything, but if I was to be in a situation like that, I don't think I'd be talking about politics too much.
Especially with these people in Seattle, and trust me, trust me, I've seen a couple of white folks wearing these Black Lives Matter shirts, and heck, it was even crazier when I was taking a bus. So there was this white guy who was actually wearing a La Raza shirt.
Wow, that's hilarious.
Yeah, but I did actually talk to the bouncer there, and he says that there was a few homes, and he says, and I actually told him the same situation about San Francisco since I live actually close to San Francisco, and he says that the drug problem is kind of he said, well, it's not much different than Seattle. I mean, people throw their needles out in the street here too.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, but that's all I gotta say. My birthday's coming next week. It's gonna be next Sunday. Just gonna give it out there.
Oh, sounds good, man. How old are you gonna be?
I'm gonna be 24, and you know what? I just want to say something. There's another thought. You always hear have you ever heard this talk about high-speed rail in America?
Yeah.
I mean, these people. I mean, when you see a lot of this yuppie journalism, they talk about high-speed rail doesn't exist. There's a high-speed rail that sort of exists. It exists in the Northeast, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
There's a high-speed rail, and I think it's called Excella by Amtrak, and it runs from DC to Boston, I believe. But they're trying. But the problem is, I guess the problem with building a high-speed rail has to do with geography. I mean, it also because it's kind of impossible to build a high-speed rail going from Seattle to Los Angeles, because it's also you have to bear with the mount. You have to bear with the mountains. You can't build a high-speed rail pushing through the mountains.
Yeah, it's a lot of geographical problems because it's very mountainous on the coast. It creates a lot of problems, and then it's the cost, it's the expense. If it's being funded by the government, they drag their feet. They try to just extend the contract as long as they can to keep milking it. So that could be a problem right there for sure.
Yeah, and also many European countries are smaller than the state of Texas. Okay,
that's right.
All right, but that's another thing. There's other things I want to say. And I know I'm going to be. Remember when I told you the philosophy about the devil's advocate?
I don't remember that.
Where I said, remember that time when I told you? I remember telling you this about these remember that. I remember you doing one about those white liberal professor judging people by their race and not their character.
Yeah.
And I said, and if you're a black conservative, why don't you judge I think you as a black conservative, you should judge these lofty white liberals by their race if they keep talking about how bad whites if they talk about how bad whites are, go judge them by their race then.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, and I also have another thing about the devil's advocate. So yeah, it's better being the devil's advocate than being a follower of God, because God's busy right now. But I have another thing. Remember when Trump said about his sanctuary cities, about sending illegals to sanctuary cities?
Yes.
I actually had another idea. You know about this talk about abortion, and I do think that they open don't they open a welfare offices close to the border, I believe?
I don't know, but if they did, I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, they did, but I have a better idea. Since I'm going to be the devil's advocate here, why not open abortion centers close to the border and have these Planned Parenthood advertise in different languages?
Oh no. Well, I think they may want that, but they may not want that, because here's the thing about that. People that are pro illegal immigration wouldn't want that, because that'll get rid of the anchor babies.
Well, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, they were all about welcoming. They're about welcoming these people anywhere in the world into open arms, and then look what happened. So that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. Put every abortion clinic all in multiple languages: Spanish, Chinese, Arabic.
Well, hey, maybe so, but I think that the people that really want the open border, and once you get down to it, those that are funding it, they wouldn't want that, because that'll get rid of them anchor babies. And then you see the hypocrisy right there. They talk about all these liberal things, but then when it comes to that, they'll be like, oh, no, we don't want that. We can't have that, because that's going to ruin the gravy train for us.
It was just sort of an idea I had.
Oh, I feel you. Yeah, but I know what you're saying would make sense for them, but you'll see the hypocrisy if you were to try to do that from their point of view.
I think it should happen for the sake of the argument, not for it to really happen, but just to see them self-contradict themselves, sort of like what happened with the sanctuary cities thing.
Right, gotcha.
All right, and there's also another thing I wanted to say is that, have you actually heard what's going on in Oakland right now?
No, what's happening?
So Oakland City is going broke. And now that the gas tax they're using, they're going to divert that money to, instead of fixing the roads as they claim they would, Oakland's going to use the gas tax money to keep their street lights on.
So the money was supposed to be to fix the roads, but now they're going to say they're using it for street lights?
Well, then again, you always claim that it's kind of what happens. I mean, yeah, sure, you see the roads being fixed in these much nicer towns, but usually in most of California, the roads are still like nothing's happened.
Right. Yeah.
All right, I think that's pretty much all I gotta say right now. And I just want to say is that I'm probably gonna be, instead of going to Vegas for my birthday because Vegas is too expensive, I might actually just prepare my trip for Denver like in a few weeks.
Hey man, sounds good, and I thank you for the call as always. Definitely appreciate you.
That's all I gotta say. Take care.
I know. All right, thank you, Nico, for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. And you guys on the Jordan number to call is 434-658-1220. And shout out to the super chats. I've not forgot about you guys. Thank you to Liza Jean, who says, I just love hearing other people's opinions. Thank you. Well, thank you for your donation. Thank you to Zeto Choose King Store, who says, hi, ABL, and hi, chat. Love to you all. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to His Gaze for your donations. Thank you to Tsunami, who says, liberal media stopped talking about the school shooting because the students were mad. They were pushing gun control when they were shouting for mental health. The real problem, 100%. I saw that. It was some kind of vigil or something where the adults talking about gun control and the kids walked out because they were like, yo, mental health, that's the problem. Let's fix that. Thank you to Carl's Opinion for the donation, who says, hey, Mr. Logan in the chat, I appreciate you. Thank you to Stuka Lover Ken. Hopefully I didn't butcher that, who says, love your content, keep doing what you do, will do. And thank you for your kind words and donation. Definitely appreciate you. But let me get to my next call here. 215, you on the line. I'm speaking to.
Hello?
Yes, 215.
Yeah, is this ABL?
Yes, it is.
I'm I'm calling to talk to you. Are you live right now?
We're live right now.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool. So, do I just say the topics that I wanted to share?
Yeah, but whatever's on your mind. What's on your mind tonight?
Well, two particular things: Ben Shapiro storming out and Alyssa Milano's craziness.
Yeah, that's definitely
regarding Georgia.
Okay, let's start with Ben Shapiro. What's your thoughts on that?
I think he should have stayed. I saw the whole interview. Maybe he was having a bit of a moment, but I honestly think that he should have just stuck with the interview. It probably would have been like another 5-10 minutes. And, you know, he's a professional, and irrespective of whether he didn't like where the interviewer was going, he should have just stuck it out.
Yeah, he was getting irritated, and then he became defensive. But he should have just, stuck to the facts and not let the framing of the questions bother him. I could tell he was getting upset by how he was framing the questions, but there's no need to do that. Keep it cool and then just finish the interview, because now you're on BBC, the whole world's watching. So, yeah, you should have stayed during the interview for sure.
I agree with you 100%. And in addition, and by the way, I do want to preface with, I'm a huge Ben Shapiro fan. I follow him on Daily Wire and all of that. However, I feel that in part, Ben Shapiro is like on this super intelligent level where sometimes it's hard to counteract him. But this interviewer did a very good job being just as witty, if not more witty, than Ben Shapiro. And I think, I don't know, just from what I gathered in the interview, it felt like Ben Shapiro kind of knew, like he saw the tide and he couldn't outsmart or outwit or frankly dominate the interview. Ben Shapiro is really good at dominating debates, dominating interviews, and knowing how to turn it, and he couldn't really do that with this interviewer, and I think he kind of got fed up and then left.
Yeah, that's what happened. I agree with you 100%.
And, yeah, that's it, basically, with Ben Shapiro.
So, Alyssa Milano, what's your thoughts on that?
She's a nutcase. She's an absolute nutcase. She even looks crazy. She looks nuts. She's with her whole what was she saying? How she said on Twitter that women should have they should ban sex, right? That's called abstinence. Just this whole notion that that just everything that she proposes and then when you have, it's not just Alyssa Milano, it's these other Hollywood actors and directors that are now donating funds from when they film in Georgia. They're donating funds to get to go against this pro-life bill, and I just think it's absurd. It's they're morally corrupt. I currently reside in Philadelphia. So I don't know if you're aware, but the other day there was a pro-life, I guess, kind of rally by Spruce Street, like in downtown Philly, outside of that's where the senator kind of, you covered the story with the guy who was filming, and he was yelling at this older woman and these teenagers on their pro-life. ABL, you still there?
I'm here. I'm listening to you.
Oh, and so there was a pro-life rally, and yeah, it was just I am pro-life. Not that I'm totally against 100% pro-choice, although I do think there should be some sort of cutoff. And I think I just feel that the way society is turning, people don't understand, and it's worst of all for women. This is not a women's rights issue. This is a moral issue. At what point do you say, okay, we've gone far enough? If this were anything else, if they were killing puppies, then everyone would be outraged. But this is human life. At 7 months, 8 months, don't you think it's extreme? So 6 weeks, even I personally, I would never do it. I don't understand it, but I can't. I would like to think that I separate my morality from sometimes not necessarily the greater good, but for what society needs, if that makes any sense.
I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
Whether I agree with it religiously or not, ethically or not, morally or not. But yeah, so it just all ties together. I don't know if these people who protest against pro-life, if they even know what they're doing. These women, they don't know. They don't get it. Alyssa Milano is a hypocrite. She has 2 sons. I wonder, after looking at her children, right? Or she has 1 son, or she has children. I wonder if after they were born, she looked at them and said, yeah, you know what? Kill it.
Yeah, that always seems to be the case. You know, you got people talking about, you know, abortion this, abortion that. Yeah, it's like, okay, you're born, so it's easy for you to say. How about those that are unborn? And then a lot of them have kids. It's weird.
I don't understand it at all. And what's even funnier is that this senator, what reminds me, his name is eluding me. And I'm in Philly, and he doesn't represent my county. I'm in the Northeast. But what's that guy's name again? The representative.
From what state?
The senator. From Pennsylvania.
Are you talking about I forget his name, but I know you're talking about the Planned Parenthood bully.
Yeah, exactly. The Planned Parenthood
Brian
bully.
Sims is his name. Right.
It's just the hypocrisy. I don't know if it's borderline, if it's ignorance, if it's borderline stupidity, hypocrisy, but he's yelling at them, right? He's yelling at he points out, this is a white woman, and he's a white male, by the way.
Right.
So this is a white woman, racist, and she's a racist. And now Spruce Street, I don't know if you're familiar or not, but that one would be the closest location to like West Philly, and West Philly is a predominantly black neighborhood. And so this white woman is a racist for wanting to save black babies.
That's right. It's crazy how they say things like that. It don't make any sense, but some people are willing to buy into it like it actually makes sense, even though it doesn't.
They're being bamboozled, and it's a shame, and it's a disgrace, and it's going to, you know, I'm not completely against the Georgia law for the 6th week. The only reason why it makes me think otherwise is because there are some women out there who honestly may not even realize they're pregnant at 6 weeks. And I know that may sound weird. Like, how could you not know you're pregnant? Oh, ABL, let me tell you, there are ways that you would be like, I'm pregnant, and you find out at 2 months if they were like on birth control or whatever the case, you know? But if we continue with these socially bankrupt laws, it will only corrupt society. And a corrupt society is the worst thing that could happen. And that's what the left pushes for. They're socially bankrupt. They're morally bankrupt. They have no values, no morals. And this is the epitome of lacking morals and values.
I agree with you 100%. I don't mean to catch you, but I got to get to a few more calls so I wrap on up.
Awesome. I can't believe I reached you. By the way, real quick, I was there at the Turning Point in DC.
Okay.
And I took pictures with you, and you were awesome. I met you in person, and you are a gentleman online and a gentleman in person. And God bless you. I watch you all the time. You're amazing.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Absolutely. Have a great night.
All right. Same to you. All right. Shout out to the caller, and shout out to that event, Turning Point, YBLS. That was a great event. And we're going to do it again this year. And I'm not really sure when the date is going to be. We're going to do that again this year. So hopefully I see all you guys at that event that were there last time, maybe with some more faces this time around. And I'll be doing some traveling hopefully later on this year, aside from that particular event as well. But let me get to my next call. 702, you're in line. I'm speaking to.
Hey, it's Robert and Megan. How you doing?
Everything's good, man. How about yourself?
Oh, it's doing good. Hey, I just wanted to mention that, you know that stuff about Trump's taxes, right?
Yes.
Yeah. You ever hear of Oscar Goodman?
No.
He was one of the top lawyers in the nation. He turned into the mayor of Las Vegas for a minute. He was in the movie Casinos too. You know, he helped the family get out of trouble. You know, that kind of lawyer.
Okay, right. I got you.
Yeah. Well, I actually saw him in court. The FBI took one of my bosses to court for tax evasion.
Oh, wow.
So think about that. The FBI taking a guy to court for tax evasion, not the IRS.
Yeah,
the judge.
That seems like that's all they can get him on was tax evasion, but they really want to get him on some criminal stuff aside from the money thing.
Right, but the thing is, if the IRS doesn't think there's a case, and you know if the IRS smells some money in it,
they're going to get it. They're going to get it.
That's right. And yeah, the judge just looked at the feds, looked at my boss, and said, "Dismiss."
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because I actually watched the IRS come in with chains and close down a 33,000 person business, the Stardust. I watched them chain the doors at one end and walk everyone out of an entire casino hotel.
Wow.
Yeah. So, if the IRS thought Trump had done anything wrong,
oh, they would have got him a long time ago. That's why I was trying to tell the caller earlier. It's like, look, man, if there was anything that Trump did that was wrong, tax wise, it would have been like we're talking about old stuff from the 80s and early 90s.
Right.
I mean, come on.
Right.
It would have already been known. He would have already been locked up for it.
Exactly. That's why that is a big old nothing burger.
Exactly.
But here's going on to the VA. Being ex-military here in Vegas, I got nothing but love for him. Let me tell you, I used to go in there for my physicals once a year, doctor checkup, no big deal. My butt would barely graze the seat in the waiting room. Boom, you're in for your blood work. You go in for your appointment for a doctor, your butt touches the seat, boom, you get called up to go see your doctor. And they were just fast and efficient here in Vegas.
Right.
I mean, they took care of business. There was no waiting around. Their waiting room was small, and there was nobody in it. I mean, it was just boom, boom, boom. So I can't say nothing bad about them here.
But in different places, I guess it'd be a different story. Yeah.
I guess that's it, because I mean they really are on top of it here in Vegas.
Right.
So, I gotta give them love where they deserve it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I heard it sometimes. People tell me, or where I live is great. It's fantastic service. I have no complaints. And then I hear about people in Florida, California. There's like, oh no, here is different. And that's kind of how everything is, especially with the government. Different states, it could be night and day.
That's it. Then going on to that guy with the painkillers thing, I'm like, oh man. Painkillers are good, but the problem is painkillers are horrible for you.
Yeah.
The pain is good for you. People don't realize that. Pain is the best thing in the world for you because it keeps you from doing stupid stuff when you're hurt.
Okay, I see.
If you take the pain away, I'm doing great. I can lift that up, no problem. Next thing you know, you're on your back. And they're calling an ambulance for you.
Right.
That's why pain is a good thing. It saves your life.
It makes sense, though. That does make a lot of sense because I've seen people get re-injured after a particular thing. Like they have some kind of surgery or something, and then they're on their pills. They don't really understand how badly they're hurt, and then they get re-injured, and it takes longer for the injury to heal because they've disrupted something that was holding their injury together to heal it.
That's it. Yeah, you just keep re-injuring and re-injuring. Eventually, you hurt it to the point where it doesn't heal. And then guess what? Then you're on painkillers forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of those things. Let's see. Then moving on down the line, I got a big old list of stuff here, but I think I'll just hit it real fast, touch on it, and move on. Facebook and Twitter. You know how they're getting rid of some conservatives and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Well, why doesn't so Trump? Why doesn't he do an executive order where let's see, well, the government pays Twitter and Facebook and puts a lot of their stuff on Facebook and Twitter. Well, if they're banning Americans from Facebook and Twitter, that means they're not free and open, which means they're not available to all Americans, which means Trump can basically cut off all funding and all government agencies from using them because they do not take care of all American citizens. Couldn't he do something like that?
He might be able to. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure how that would work, but I guess that's possible.
Yeah, because they get money from the government, and the government uses Facebook and Twitter. Well, look at how Trump basically is keeping Twitter afloat with his tweets.
Yeah, he is, because I think that's probably a big attraction to Twitter for a lot of people on the left and the right. People on the left talk about how much they hate Trump, all this, that, and the third. But if you go to any of Trump's tweets, the people that are there immediately are the left.
Yep, exactly. So if they're not allowing conservative voices, or if they're banning conservatives from the access to Twitter, that means they're banning access to the president of the United States.
That's a good point. And then, I saw this ruling that said that Trump couldn't block anybody because, it's something about a public forum, something. I forgot what the exact reasoning was, but basically because he's the president, you can't block those from having access to you. So the converse should be true as well. You can't block those people from having access to him because they're blocking you off the platform.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
So, he could do an executive order. Well, if it's your business, you do not have, you have the right to ban anybody you like. But as the president of the United States, I'm allowed to talk to everybody in the United States.
Right.
If I can't block them, well, I guess I'll have to get off your network. Could you imagine what would happen to their stock if he got off Twitter?
It'd take a nosedive. It'd be really bad for them that day.
Exactly, and same thing for Facebook. I mean, if these sites want to pull that, well, we can block whoever we want. Well, guess what? The government can block them or not even block them, just not use them because they are not for all Americans.
That's right.
Seems like that'd be a pretty easy fix.
Hey, it makes a lot of sense to me.
Yep. Well, that was all I had for tonight.
Well, I thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
I appreciate the work you do, ABL. Come on down to Vegas. I'll buy you some prime rib one day.
Hey, love to, man. Thank you for the call.
Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
All right. Shout out to the caller from Vegas. Most certainly appreciate him. And thank you all for being here. Super chats. Am I loaded up? Am I caught on my super chat? I think I'm good money on super chat. So thank you all for joining the show. I most certainly appreciate you. And the We the People hat right here. Of course, you know what that is. We the People. This hat is available on the store. It should be right below the video in a little carousel of products right there. We the People. Check it out. But let me get to my next call. 561, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, man, how you doing? It's Jay from South Florida. How you doing?
Everything's good, man. How about yourself?
Good. Just having a little sore throat.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Bill. I want to ask you something. Charlie Kirk. You made Charlie Kirk, right?
Yeah.
Candace Owens and Brandon Tatum.
Mm-hmm.
They're not only child, are they? Do they have siblings?
Brandon has siblings. Candace does, but I'm not sure about Charlie. But I know Brandon and Candace both have siblings.
Okay, because I wonder if their children or their siblings are conservative like that, or they kind of come on board. They probably agree with. That's all. That's what I wanted to know.
Yeah, I don't know much about their siblings.
Okay.
So I really don't know that one.
Okay, because I went on Brandon Tatum's Instagram one time, and I saw his son and everything, and I see his girlfriend. Like, man, I'm jealous of him.
Yeah, shout out to Brandon.
Hey, did you see the interview with Van Lathan versus Corleone Noir? That was interesting.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, man. Van Lathan is very he put Kanye West in his place, but Corleone Noir is not Kanye West. Corleone Noir was arguing for the Second Amendment. We know Van Lathan talking about NRA not for blacks and all that, but Corleone Noir hold his own nuts on that interview really well against Van Lathan.
Now, was it on TMZ or was it like on Van's little on his podcast on his own platform?
So you could YouTube it. It's on there. He actually showed it's a full video, like the whole an hour. They are debating for over an hour, and a half.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Corleone, he was really defending it really strong, and Van Lathan to keep going about race and NRA from blacks. It's like, Van Lathan, you have no point. This Second Amendment is important.
See, Van looked good. Well, I won't say he looked good. I would say that he impressed some people when he was talking to Kanye, because Kanye is not really the kind of guy that's going to be doing what I'm doing. Talking for a long time, being a political guy. He's just a regular person that has ideas that are kind of abstract. But Corleone Noir is like myself. He's a spokesperson. So when you try to approach him with certain things, he's going to be able to, hang in there with you. It's not going to be like talking to a regular person or a tomato can. So, yeah, I can imagine how that interview went already.
Right. I saw you comment on something. Can't remember.
Oh, the DJ Vlad, Lord Jamar.
Yeah, and then someone commented, and you say, "Oh, you lost your debate with Roland Martin." I was reading all the comments against you when you put that comment.
Yeah, I mean, people are gonna say whatever they want, but my comment was because the video was DJ Vlad and Lord Jamar talking about the next president or who it could be, and then they were talking about could Joe Biden take it, and I'm like,
crime bill.
Yeah, I'm like, well, he wrote the '94 crime bill. Like, he actually did that, and people were trying to hate. It's like, well, don't hate, just look at the facts. He wrote the crime bill. You can say whatever you want about me, but that don't change the fact that he wrote the crime bill in 1994.
Right. Once you Democrat ignore the racism they've said and things, it's ridiculous.
That's right.
The Grapevine, they said, oh, we need more conservative. They had one conservative on that show. I watched a couple of the shows. Last two specifically about sex workers, and they had DeRay McKinson on that show. I said, oh my God, I watched ABL was on that show against D. We should watch it, DeRay. You was on there.
Hey, I saw like 5 seconds of that video, and I saw that blue vest. I'm like, okay, I gotta go. Like, this guy, I can't really deal with him. And that show has become really just super leftist. It wasn't as bad as it is right now. They had the guy Carl on there. He was okay. But now you got a bunch of transgender, LGBTQIA. You got more gay community members on there than anything else. So it's like the straight people are the minority in the situation, which is not how society is. So it's really a super leftist type of podcast at this point, and it shouldn't be like that, because it was better before.
Right, it was a little more balanced, a little more conservative, but especially Carl was very strong. But it's too. The show is too for women more. Like, the women overtaught the men. Like, oh, you shouldn't say that because you're a man. Like, that's not the issue. No, they feel like the women they're more power on our show. And then the one black guy who named Jimmy, the conservative, he's from Haiti. When he try to make a point, they try to cut him off. I mean, they're trying to shame him and try to counteract what he's saying and call him, instead of attacking his point, they're attacking his character, saying he's a contrarian. He's always like he's an idiot. Like, he don't know what he's talking like. That don't make no sense.
Yeah, they're trying to just make him seem like he is uninformed and incapable of having a conversation about whatever they're talking about, to totally dismiss him, to not even address what he's saying.
Right, because little more than 50% of the comments, actually, no, a lot of it, 60, 70% of the comment is for him, and a lot of it is positive. There's a lot of white people who agree with him. Some may not agree with him, but at least they're 50-50, but they're not all extreme radical like the whole panel is. So the panel needs to realize a lot of black people are not agreeing with you.
Right.
I did want to talk about Stephen Curry, the wife thing. I don't know if you heard, like she was insecure about her not getting enough attention from men, and her this, and they call themselves Christian, but if she's really a Christian, that shouldn't matter. But something is wrong with her. I realized that when she said that. And then Curry, another thing I have an issue with Curry as well. I thought he was a Christian too, but he came out with a documentary in January about white supremacy with Dylan Roof. And I was very disappointed in him. And it's like, Curry, you're not a Christian, dude. Like, what are you talking about? What is this?
Yeah, I don't know. The thing about Aisha Curry, she just got some insecurity that should have just been kept in house. You saying that, you got this man trying to win the playoffs, and he's trying to perform and have a good game, trying to go to the championship, trying to get the chip again. You doing that, you just creating unnecessary drama where there shouldn't be any. So she should have just kept her mouth shut, even if she felt like that. Keep that quiet. And really, there was no point of her even going on that show. Why? What's the point? Like, what are you really trying to be? They got people like the girl, the side chick girl, the Jordan Woods. They had her on there. Okay, so if she's on there, why are you on there? You got plenty of money. Your husband is a multimillionaire. You have a restaurant. You got 3 kids. What else are you looking for? You're looking for more attention. You don't need it. Now you've gotten the wrong kind of attention. The inbox probably going to be full of what in there all day long, thousands of inappropriate stuff being sent to her. Now you got to deal with that in your household. So, and Steph Curry, I think that he's not really a politically savvy individual. He'll just pretty much go with what the dominant force is in a locker room, and whoever is saying the thing that makes the most sense, religion or no religion. If somebody's talking about white supremacy, he pretty much just buy into that because to him it makes the most sense, and that's what is being preached to him the most. So that's pretty much what that is.
Exactly. I agree with you, ABL. By the way, I'm gonna give these quick points real quick. Dave, you're in the same state as Dave Ramsey. One day, hopefully, you get to meet that man. That man is very smart. When it comes to finances, you need to meet that guy. He's in Tennessee somewhere. I can't remember where, but I watched your video with Destiny twice. You did part 1 and part 2. It was very interesting. I realized how and I'm gonna appreciate you more how intelligent you are. I'm gonna put you right near Ben Shapiro and Charlie Kirk. You're not on their level yet because you're very. I could say it's an honor to see a black man. I say you're the smartest black man I know. But the only reason why I give those guys the edge is that this, like I said, they had a little. They started early and they were conservative a much longer time. That's the only reason. Other than that, I would have gave you exactly the same thing. But when you debate Destiny, I was so impressed how you make him frustrated and you started making him think about his position.
Thank you for that, man. That's a big compliment because I know Charlie. Charlie is brilliant. He is a super smart guy. Just being around him, I'm impressed. So that means a lot to me that you put me anywhere in the category with those guys. So I appreciate that.
Right, because them two, Ben Shapiro and Charlie, were gifted students. I heard what he said. They were put in gifted classes. So when you're in that classes, that means you're really intelligent. And plus, they've been reading while me and you were reading animal books and children books. They were reading. Charlie Kirk said he was reading Thomas Sowell at 5 years old. Like, man, I wasn't thinking about reading some kind of book, economics and history book.
Right.
And well, this one real quick, and then the last one. If people really follow the Bible, we would be no such thing as abortion and STDs on because the Bible says you must get married. If everybody got married, abortion wouldn't exist, feminism wouldn't exist, STD wouldn't exist because everybody would have been loyal to one another. So the abortion argument would never exist, but because people have children out of wedlock, that's why abortion come up because the girl's worried about being taken care of by a man, and a man, if he's not married to them, then he can leave when he wants. This is why put her in a situation where she's going to have to have abortion. That's the reason why abortion exists.
That's a very good point. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And the last point, because and also 2 incomes. If you're married, you will never be poor because 2 incomes, you're already in the middle class. If you have 2 incomes, if both of y'all make $1,200 each, at least $1,200, you can at least live in a middle class neighborhood.
That's right.
If you're married.
Correct.
And the last point, ABL, you got to watch that thing on CNN with Martellus Bennett, man. He frustrated the hell out of me. Yo, at 32 years old, you're whining about, white people don't understand how it is living in America being as a black man. driving while black. And you had Jamila Hill on there with Don Lemon echoing the same thing. Like 32, you're whining about how unfair it is. You're a millionaire. What is wrong with you? And then he's promoting his book, talking about Dear Black Boy and all that. Oh, you're being black. The only thing you can do is sports and all that. Like, you're making people as black children looking up to you, make them look like they're a victim. The only thing they can do is sports. It's sad.
What was it, the interview on Hot 97?
No, CNN.
CNN,
if you
okay.
Google Martellus Bennett, you see the video. It's on this thing. You will see the video with CNN. It's like an 8-minute video of him and Jamel Hill. He's whining about.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then him and his brother, the other one, have a book called "White People Uncomfortable." I mean, things that make white people uncomfortable. Like they're making books about ridiculousness. But yeah, that's all I gotta say, man. Is Martellus Bennett, man, just him and his brother. They're retiring now, and they want to cause controversy, just like Kyle Korver and everything. They want to keep their career going, and same thing with Dwayne Wade, bringing up social issues.
That's right. Trying to get that the same kind of way that Colin Kaepernick did. You saw the career was coming to an end. They'll say, like, let's do this. I'm gonna be a SJW now. Make money that way.
All right, ABL. I'll see you tomorrow. If I see you on O'Shea. You know, sometimes you're not there, but now you deserve a break. Sometimes, but I like when you're on there. You destroy these people's argument, and you're the most powerful. The only reason why I watch that show is only because of you.
Well, I thank you for that, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, ABL. See you, man.
All right, now take care.
Take it, buddy.
All right. Shout out to the caller. And, you know, I appreciate being put in the circle with a lot of those really, really smart guys. You know, I try to do my best. But let me get to my next call. Nippin.
How are you?
Everything's great, man. I got a little bit of background noise there, boss.
Yeah, I was listening to some music while waiting for over 2 hours.
Hey, man, the phone lines are jumping.
I know. Yeah. So, hashtag sex strike. Alyssa Milano. What's she up to this time?
Well, she wants to talk about a sex strike because if anybody is not pro-choice as she is, then she wants people to not sleep with them.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, that's pretty much what's going on.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's what's going on.
Yeah, I agree.
And the governor of Colorado, what has he been smoking? Okay, that's actually ironic. Yeah, that's so ironic.
Probably some of that good weed out there in Colorado.
Yep. Legalizing mushrooms.
Mushrooms, yeah.
Yeah,
They're gonna,
by mushrooms, I mean magic mushrooms.
Yeah, psilocybin. Like they're going to decriminalize it, but really, it's going to become legalized soon. So I don't know. I think it's just the next thing. Like
if I was the governor of Colorado, there would be criminalized once again.
Yeah, I think the ultimate goal is to have just whatever kind of drug you want to do become legalized, which is not a good thing.
Yeah, which is a recipe for disaster, because then we'll all become zombies.
Right.
Which is, nah, I just can't have it. I mean, if I was the governor of a certain state, I would not allow this to happen.
I'm with you. I'm right there. Too many drugs in society does not bode well for society.
Why don't you run for Tennessee governor?
Well, maybe I will one day. I like the current governor. I like Bill Lee. I met Bill Lee. He's a good dude.
As in, once his time is up.
Well, hey, maybe. I might start small. That's kind of a big step, but
maybe mayor of Chattanooga.
That'd be good. I like to do that, and then just take it from there.
Awesome. Then Ben Shapiro throws a little temper tantrum on the BBC.
Yeah, did you see that?
I saw that video. Yeah, Andrew Marr. Yeah, I know who he is. Because because I should know because I live in the UK.
Now, would you characterize him as a liberal, conservative? Like, what would you characterize him as? Andrew
Well, a conservative over here is very different to a conservative that lives in the US. So I don't know. He wouldn't be a conservative in the US. I'll give you that.
Okay, but like how about in UK? Would he be considered like a right winger over there, but not over here?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. Yeah. And then what else? Did I forget something? Yeah, elections are coming up in the UK apparently. I think it's next month. Sorry, next week, 23rd.
Okay, so elections for prime minister. What's the election for?
Don't know. I think it's a European Parliament.
Okay.
I think Tommy Robinson is running.
Yeah, I heard about that. Does he have a chance of being able to win? I guess not.
Yeah, that's where my sarcastic laugh came from.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. As in, like, as much as I want him to represent us in the European Parliament, I don't think it's going to happen.
Right.
There are just too many people who are against him. And that's really sad.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate.
So, yeah. Then what else happened today? Yeah, I wasn't following it exactly. So what else?
Yeah, that's pretty much all I had on the title there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and TV anchor gets fired for asking an obvious question on the Baltimore mayor. Oh yeah, she resigned, didn't she?
Oh, she got fired.
Yeah, she got fired by the corruption.
Well, the mayor resigned, but the mayor resigned, but the person who asked the question got fired.
Why?
They said it was racist and sexist to ask the question.
Apparently now even asking questions is racist.
Questions are racist. Yes.
Wow, what will they think of next? Guns are racist? Oh wait, they already have that.
Right.
Yeah, guns are racist. They just keep saying stuff that Republicans are this, Republicans are that. It was actually, correct me if I'm wrong, but this quote was said by Lyndon B. Johnson. I will have them N-words voting for the Democrats for the next 100 years.
Yes, that was LBJ, 100%.
Unfortunately, he's right.
He was right. Yeah.
Because they are voting for the Democrats. So yeah.
And the thing about it is, the lady asked a question that will go against what he said, which was actually racist. It's like, hey, let's just try something new. Like, that's what she was getting at, or at least asking if that might be an alternative to try something else outside of what had been going on for a very long time, which has produced nothing but corruption after corruption after corruption.
Yeah, now think about it. All the governors that enforced Jim Crow back in the 20th century, they were all Democrats. George Wallace, and what's the other one? Yeah, Bilbo.
Yeah, it was a Democrat thing.
Theodore Bilbo. Yeah, it was a Democrat thing. Who started the KKK?
It's Democrats all day long.
The Democrats. Margaret Sanger gave speeches to KKK members.
That's right.
And is the I should say mother figure. Yeah, of Planned Parenthood.
Margaret Sanger.
Yeah, basically, Planned Parenthood is terrorism.
100%.
It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that.
Absolutely.
Murder is murder. I don't care. There's no justification for it. Murder is murder.
That's right.
And yeah, that's probably about it. And as for Brexit, I don't think it's going to go anywhere. I think I don't think we'll have a new referendum. I don't think we'll leave. I think we'll just be stuck in limbo.
Well, hopefully something does happen, because I really want to see that this whole thing just, come to an end and come to an end the right way, man. But thank you for the call as always. I definitely appreciate you.
Now, before that, imagine in 100 years' time, a drastic demographic shift happens, like the Northeast and California all become red, and the South and the Great Plains all become blue.
Hey, it very well could happen, man. Who knows what's
happening? So imagine a red New York, a red California, but then at the same time, imagine a blue Louisiana and a blue Montana. How crazy would that be?
That would be crazy. I can't really imagine that, but I got to wrap it on up, man. I'm past my time.
Yeah. The Republicans were actually the heroes. Desegregation and stuff, yeah.
Right. All right, Nippin. I got to go, man, because I'm past my time.
Sorry. Yeah, I'll see you on Thursday, is it?
Yeah, Wednesday for me, Thursday for you.
Yeah, precisely.
All righty. Thank you for the call as always.
Peace.
All right. Thank you, Nippin, for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. And that will wrap it on up. Thank y'all for joining. I most certainly appreciate you. Please do not forget to like the video, share the video, and subscribe if you're not subscribed already. And if you want to get this hat right here, the We the People, it should be right beneath you in a little carousel. And if you do not see the carousel for whatever the reason may be, check out the store, which is also in the description box. And I'm going to show you the store right here. Let me see if I can pull up my desktop. So, we got some of the old merchandise, the ABL, we was Kings, we was Burger Kings, the MAGA stars, that one does pretty well. You have to go back. That's a pretty good one there. I digress. I'm gonna kind of redesign that one soon. The CNN sucks. Trump Pence 20. The MSNPC, that's a funny one right there. And you have the 1776 hat, which is available in many colors. The We the People, which is also this one here. And you have We the People hat and the sticker. Here's the hat. This is the one that I have on right now on my head. And I have a big head and it fits me well. This is a trucker style snapback. The trucker style means the back is vented, as you can see. Hold on, let's focus camera. There we go. You see the back is vented. That's how that one is as well. And you see the snapback on it. This is $24, $23.99. It's available in black, blue, and the red don't want to show up for some reason. But the red is like the American flag type of red, pretty much. See, it's like this red is not really. It's like a true red. This is kind of a little off. The screen is not really showing it the way it is, but it's a nice red. If you see the hat I wear with the 1776 flag on it, it's the same red because it's the same style hat. But that will pretty much do it for me. I thank y'all for joining. I most certainly appreciate you. Again, if you are not subscribed, please do so. Please look at all the links in the description box, and I got more stuff coming to you almost every day as soon as I can. And shout out to all the moms out there. Hopefully you enjoy your day tomorrow. Don't let your kids, your husband, and nothing like that bug you. Enjoy your day. Happy Mother's Day. Without you, there is no us. And without y'all, there is no me. Not at all. And that's all I got. So until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out. And peace. Oh, also, shout out to the moderators. You guys know who you are. Thank you for what you do. But for real this time, I'm out. Peace.